LOL. LOL is what CeeDee Lamb responded with when Jerry Jones, this report came out on X that says, I don't have any urgency to get it done in regards to CeeDee Lamb's contract. And Lamb retweeted LOL. I don't understand. I don't understand how Jerry, who keeps saying, I don't know why he keeps saying it, doesn't make it true. Every time he says it, it doesn't make it true. I'm all in. I'm all in. We're all in this year. And you have the number one, number two, at least number two, wide receiver in the National Football League. Not at practice. The odds of injury go up every single day he's not at practice. And this is the most elite player at the receiver position right now in football. He goes number one, number two in fantasy drafts. I don't know where that goes to from here. I don't know when we start dialing back and scaling back our CeeDee Lamb shares. But Lamb's got to resort to an LOL. This just happened a few minutes ago. LOL. Then after this report surfaced, I some of this is happening right now, so I can't even confirm some of it. I just got to go off to some of the sources. I haven't pulled it up. I haven't verified that it got taken off his profile. Did I see his profile prior to him getting it taken off? I did not. But America's Team, which was at the top of his bio on, I believe, IG, came down on CeeDee Lamb's profile on social media, I guess across other platforms than just Instagram or Twitter. But America's Team's gone. Is this guy coming back? No, this does not sound like the type of player that's coming back. We're worried. We're in panic chamber territory, ladies and gentlemen.
Alert. Alert. Panic mode initiated.
How could we not be? He's not a step closer to saying, well, whatever, I'll come in, it'll get done. He's taking things off his bio in social media worlds. That is a absolute stand down, like I'm gonna take this the distance move. So he's posturing in a way that he's ready to go to war with Jerry. I don't know what in the hell to make of this, and I certainly am getting a little worried about where we take him in 2024. We've got more Brandon Aiyuk news. Pittsburgh, is he going there or is he not? Is Cleveland back in the mix? It sounds like Pittsburgh isn't offering the right package to the Niners, so the Niners are not interested in the Pittsburgh Steelers deal right now. They might be pulling the old walk away from the table maneuver. Okay, it could just be between it sounds like we're hearing 2 second-rounders, and maybe the Steelers want to do a second and a fourth. Now they're talking about a second and a third. And who are they getting back? Now there's rumors that the Niners want a different receiver. They want somebody very solid. Maybe not a Calvin Austin. Maybe not a Van Jefferson, which is all the Steelers have to offer. They want something bigger, something greater. And the Steelers are not giving up George Pickens. Then you have Raiders rumors. We're bringing all that to you in 1 second. The Fantasy Football Show, one of the longest intros of this channel, begins right now.
Live from the FantasyFootballShow.com studios. It's the Fantasy Football Show. Live! Monday through Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern. Smitty is also live whenever news breaks.
From the FantasyFootballShow.com news desk, here is your breaking news.
Unbelievable. LOL. LOL. CeeDee Lamb. I don't know what to make of this. Jerry's off his rocker. Off his rocker to think that this is not a priority. To literally say, I have no urgency to get a deal done, makes me question everything about this man. Makes me question whether the lights are on upstairs. For your star wide receiver to literally, now the nonchalant LOL with the proper punctuation too. LOL period. It says so much. Lamb sitting there, even in the photo, it's like, it feels like the guy's absolutely chill about this situation. LOL. LOL. He's not putting a mad emoji. He's laughing at it. He's so far from coming in right now. This is a big concern. I don't know how far he's going to push this, but he is the kind of player that's going to get so much money he can afford to make a stand and make a statement. So this is getting really messy, and I don't know where to tell people to draft CeeDee Lamb right now when he's taken things down from his social media. America's team removed from his bios on social. It's getting ugly. It's getting messy. Look at Chase Brown. Look at Chase Brown over here in the corner. Chase Brown to the moon. Everybody give me a Chase Brown in the chat right now. Drop a Chase Brown in the chat. Chase Brown going to the mother freaking moon.
To the moon.
Let's see it. Let's see it.
The moon men dropping loads in outer space.
Some new additions for those of you that are, I don't know, living under a rock. Chase Brown, Fields,
Space Monsters,
Walker. These aren't all brand new, but these are maybe the newer additions. Jalen Warren. These are the big dogs. A lot of guys have been sitting here for a while. This is the most risky list for people that want to know Moonman, Marsman, Saturnman. Give me the order, Smitty.
He's on a shuttle to Mars.
Debo.
Mars man.
Debo's been sitting on here for so long. He's climbing up draft boards. He might.
Loads dropping and spinning aimlessly in space.
He might have to go over to the Mars side of this screen where he's been a victory of sorts. So it's, we'll have to see because it's like you're not even capitalizing on the value anymore. At some point, he's climbing to the second round. And then Saturn men, which are the least risky, but dare I say the most valuable because their ADPs are absolutely ridiculous.
The Saturn Men.
Every single one of these guys.
Small step for man, one giant leap
Saturn.
for Saturn.
Every single one of these guys. Chase Brown. Every single one of these guys can be had in territory that wins you a league. None of them belong where they're going. Like, it's going to be so funny when someone calls in later in the season and goes, oh, really obvious Saturn man list, Smitty. What an obvious
Saturn
list.
Men.
Oh, my God.
Step for man, one giant leap for
Saturn. Way to be bold, Smitty. Way to be bold. Every one of these guys is going way too late. They're steals. Kyron in round 2. Hall at the 7, 8, 9, 10. He should be going top 5. Bijan should be going number 1. He's going 6, 7. Achan's going in 2, 3. Gibbs going in the 2, 3, the 1, 2 turn, sometimes round 2. Give me a break. Hurts and Mahomey, they win you a league in round 3 and 4 in best ball, 3 in non-best ball. I love the people that are going to come in a Monday morning quarterback that list. I can't wait. You're going to get roasted. You're going to get roasted. As is a lot of people that are pretending they have the inside scoop on this Brandon Aiyuk situation because everybody and their mother acts like they've got a source. I know this. Somebody, according to my source. You don't have a source. If you had a source, you would name the source. If you got less than 10,000 followers on X and you're pretending to be a news reporter, you don't have a source. You're a Mickey Mouse reporting situation and kind of a thorn in the side of a lot of people trying to gather good information. You don't have a source. If you had a source, you would list it. If you had a source, you would be able to tell us. Or there's a rat in the organization feeding you information. Do you know a rat? Are you friends with a rat? How are we getting this information, Steve? The answer is you're not. You're not getting it. No one's getting it. Just like Hector, you're not getting in the phone line right now because we're in the middle of the monologue, pal. So I'm going to say this. There's a lot of crazy updates to provide you that none of which we have confirmation, really. The only thing that the highest level source we have as of late is Diana Rossini. And I'm going to read her report because I think there's some legitimacy to this report right here. The Niners, to this point, haven't been satisfied with the Steelers' offers, multiple offers, right? They've been negotiating. None of them have satisfied the Niners. And they would like a receiver in return for Aiyuk as a part of the trade, although they are open to players at other positions, league sources say. Again, sources, it sucks to hear, but Diana Rossini is very dialed in. Schefter, Rappaport, they are the people that will get unnamed sources because they're big people that are going to get fed this information, and they time and time again do get fed. So we trust them. We give them the ability to use the source. You can't use the source if you're just some random page on Instagram and you're in your mom's basement awaiting the meatloaf. You don't get to use source. You use source and we send you on a lap. We take away your Bijan card and we make sure that you get lambed.
Get lambed. Your Bijan card has been revoked.
So, source, according to my source, I'm an unknown Instagram or X page. Okay, you've never seen my face before. I'm 17 years old, still in high school. Ma, is that meatloaf ready? And I know somebody. You're throwing mud at the wall, son. You're throwing mud at the wall. So this is the highest level report we have. Now, I will say that there's one guy that continues to hit on stuff. He could be a 17-year-old kid in his mom's basement as well, awaiting meatloaf. Maybe he's even a vegetarian. We don't even know who this guy is. It could be a burner account for Bill Belichick. It could be a burner account for somebody big. It could be Schefter's uncle. It could be Schefter's kid. It could be some completely unknown person. But this Pretty Ricky guy's been dropping a lot of accurate stuff. And he wrote this. I was quiet this morning because I was wallpapering a nursery. The agent representing John Lynch and Brandon Aiyuk was at Raiders camp yesterday. Niners want a receiver. Davante Adams rumored to be available for trade. Why are the Niners looking for a wide receiver? ? So this came out and the whole world's on fire about, is there now a potential Davante Adams Aiyuk swap? I'm not saying it's accurate. I'm not saying it has any legs. It is coming in this question, a form of a question. It's not a report. He's not saying this is happening, so I don't know that this will go on his record as something he tried to predict. So I'm actually going to take this one with a grain of salt because he's not predicting anything. He's posing a question. And we all did wonder, what is the agent doing there? Well, he's got other clients as well. But he was sitting here at Raiders camp, and some people wonder if maybe it's not Davante Adams. Maybe they're going after Michael Mayer and a wide receiver that's not named Davante Adams. There's certainly a possibility that this could be some sort of Aiyuk to the Raiders situation, and then Adams goes to the Jets. It's certainly in the realm of possibility. We just have no confirmation whatsoever. We don't know who this is. We still don't know. He's been pretty accurate, but we don't know who he is, and he's not necessarily saying one thing or another in that particular situation. Then, this report here is reposted by that same person, Pretty Ricky, and it says we have Aiyuk, the Aiyuk scoop, and this is 58 minutes ago from when I started the live stream. So about an hour, and this has been about an hour and 12 minutes ago, roughly, an hour and 10 minutes ago, where this report says these two people from this 10,000X following account Steeler page doing a podcast. And they're like, I got it. He says, I got a text. And I'm not saying he didn't. I'm just saying I'm not buying anybody's story that has 10,000 followers on X as a newsbreaker. I'm not making fun of people with 10,000 followers. I don't even use X. I got less than that. I don't use X. I'm streaming to X right now. But that's it. I don't post to X. I don't dabble in X. I don't even play around on X. I'm an Instagram, YouTube type of guy. Okay? That's where I dabble. But I'm not out there breaking news. I'm digesting it. I'm talking about it. But 10,000 following accounts don't break news. Now, they're local. Maybe his uncle is the rat. If someone's got a rat in the organization, maybe they do, then they are maybe getting fed something, and there could have some legs to this thing. But these guys say it's like essentially he's agreed to the terms. Maybe he has. But if he has agreed to terms, the numbers. We're all making fun of Aiyuk sometimes, like, hey, he's dragging his feet. Well, what if, and I said this yesterday, what if he has agreed to everything on his end, and we're just awaiting the Niners and the Steelers to come to an agreement? Well, that's what Diana Rossini's kind of saying. So these couldn't go hand in hand. This could be true because there's nothing really being said here at the end of it that's really saying it's done. It's saying he's agreed to the terms that have been presented to him. And Diana Rossini saying the 49ers to this point have not been satisfied by the Steelers' offers, multiple offers. So yeah, that makes sense. He could have agreed. And right now, the Steelers are saying, we're playing hardball. You've got this guy, Khan, who's called the Con Man for a reason, over in Pittsburgh. And you got John Lynch, who's an amazing trader, who got Christian McCaffrey for a second, a third, and a fourth rounder. What a steal. 30 teams were sleeping at the wheel. 31 if you include the Panthers, who gave him up. 30 teams who were sleeping at the wheel when Christian McCaffrey was available for a second, a third, and a fourth rounder. So John Lynch knows how to trade. I talk about Shanahan all the time. I can't stand some of the things he does. I think he sleeps at the wheel during the playoffs. I think he makes horrible decisions during the offseason. I think this guy doesn't know his QB rooms. He got lucky with Brock Purdy because maybe Adam Peters is more of a reason why Brock Purdy was selected. And that man is over in Washington, about to take Washington up to new heights. Washington to the mother freaking moon. So you've got John Lynch, great trader. Khan, great trader. They're both trying to con each other. I'm getting the super chats right after this rant. They're both trying to con each other. And so it's a stalemate right now. It's a draw. It's a even Steven tie. It's a stare down. And so the Niners are looking elsewhere. You got other reports that there's two potential teams may be involved in a trade, maybe a three-way trade. I don't know that feels like John Lynch in the Niners style to go doing some complex three-way trade. Sounds like a fantasy football trade. I don't know that those even exist anymore in the NFL. A three-way trade, it's hard enough to get a two-player trade involved or a two-team trade involved. How are we going to involve a third complicated party? I just don't think that's a true statement either. That's somebody else being a Mickey Mouse reporter dropping a three-way trade idea. Maybe it happens. I'll be the first to say congrats on predicting that one because that one is wild. That's a wild take. I don't see it happening. It's hard enough to get two teams to even sit down and agree upon what the trade value is, let alone to get this guy to accept the contract. You're going to go and do a three-team trade? I don't think so. So the most accurate report right now that we have that I can tell you with pretty good confidence, given 23 plus years of doing this professionally, breaking these things down, not news dropping, not being the one that breaks the news, but breaking it down and digesting it. I can tell you with confidence that this right here feels like the most logical take, the most accurate take. A lot of peripheral things are going on that might represent some of these guesstimations that a lot of people are throwing out there. But the 49ers, to the point, have not been satisfied with the offers. That's Khan. That's Khan saying, I'm going to play hardball here. And that's John saying, I'm going to play hardball. We're not satisfied. And that's where we are right now. Now, could another team be involved? Absolutely. We're hearing the Niners are potentially looking around at other teams, but the Niners are also, doesn't make a lot of sense that they're doing this to an extreme degree because they're the type of team that's like, look, we're just going to have him play on his fifth-year option. We're not going to get rid of him for pennies on the dollar. Then you say this, though, okay? This is where you start questioning your own logic when you're breaking things down like that. And you say, oh my God, Ricky Pearsall is now injured again. Remains sidelined on Thursday after aggravating a prior shoulder injury on Tuesday. So now Ricky's banged up again. Is it small? Are they just being precautionary? Maybe. They bring in Robbie Chosen Anderson, who's now signed to the team. Robbie Anderson. You know Robbie changed his name to Chosen Anderson, the chosen one. He now gets signed. And he comes into this situation and is now a new piece of why are we seeing this? Why is he just a camp body, or are they worried about Ricky Pearsall? If they're worried about Ricky Pearsall, they need a veteran wide receiver. Makes sense with what we're hearing. They want a wide receiver back. They'd be interested in other positions, but they want a wide receiver back. Starting to make a lot of sense. ESPN dropping this painful one. This is an ouch moment if you're reading this and you have any sort of trust in what they're saying here. And Joe, I don't know Joe at all. I don't know that Joe's got any credibility at all, but I'll read what Joe's saying from ESPN NFL. The 49ers know that their Super Bowl window is closing. I think the window's actually closed, and I think this trade would end up putting a stake in the coffin. Now, I'll say this. I don't know Joe from Adam. I don't know Joe at all, but I agree with Joe. If a trade goes down that doesn't send an elite wide receiver back to the San Francisco 49ers, not a stake in the coffin necessarily, but an unrecognizable team compared to what it is with a healthy, well-rounded mentals Aiyuk, who he might not be that right now. So what I'm trying to say is Aiyuk could go back to the Niners. It might not be the same team it was if Aiyuk just got extended when the Niners should have extended him, because the Niners are the ones at fault for all of this. Now, is Aiyuk maybe adding some gasoline or fuel to the fire? Sure. And I don't even know if that's true. He could be accepting a lot of these contractual negotiated offers that are done behind the scenes in terms of the numbers. He could be accepting them right away, and it's really coming down to the Niners saying, we like that. We like that. We heard that he turned down a $2 million offer from the New England Patriots that would have put him third or fourth in the NFL in salary annually. But we don't even fully know the whole details because the media stretches things, contorts it. Sometimes facts aren't released, so people fill in the gaps and start to try and make up what happened. We don't fully know. Maybe he doesn't want to go to New England. That's okay too, if that's what he wants and he's accepted other deals, because there have been 2 offers on the table. The Browns are the only team that I know of from reports that we can't fully trust, and we have no way to vet them. One report said, and I trusted the report at the time, said that the Cleveland Browns and the Niners had the framework of a deal in place and it was up to Brandon Aiyuk. So, to my knowledge, deductive reasoning, going backward in time and trying to piece this all together, the only thing I feel like we kind of know for a fact is what Diana Rossini here is saying about the Steelers. They haven't come to an agreement. The Niners are not satisfied. But we do remember there's framework for a Cleveland Brown trade still in place. So, if he's feeling like he's getting put to the crunch, doesn't know if the Browns are going to back out, just like trading with 2 different people and you're trying to decide in fantasy who to trade with, if you believe both parties are going to walk away, forget it, I don't want to trade anymore, you're going to be panicked. You're going to be a panic Peter. And he might be a panic Peter right now. He could end up going to the Cleveland Browns. I don't know if that framework's still there. I don't know if the Niners fully signed off on the framework or if they had a good general sense of where they wanted to go. We don't know. We truly don't know. But he could be a Cleveland Brown, which is why I have a question mark right here still. I don't have an X through him like on the New England Patriot graphic up on the top right of the screen. We got a question mark next to the Steelers. We got a question mark still next to the Browns. We don't have anything on the Raiders because we don't really even know. But I believe that the Niners are in some trouble. And they've got a 28-year-old running back in Christian McCaffrey that's going to have a tough time staying healthy. Now, my Niner fans are going to get mad over this segment. And I understand why. But I'm here to break things down from a fantasy football perspective for my people above all else. And my objective take of the 23 years that I bring to the table of breaking this stuff down is that 28-year-old running backs don't have a very good track record of doing elite things for 17 games. Maybe he's electric for 10 and then gets hurt. Maybe he's electric for 16 and a half or near 17 and does what he did last year where he sat out the second half of week 17. He could get hurt in week 14. He could be the best running back in month 1, month 2, and month 3. And be in week 13 or 14 and be tearing up the league. And people coming in going, told you Christian McCaffrey to stay healthy, you moron. How do you feel now, Smitty? And week 15, week 14, he gets injured and he doesn't play the remainder of the season. Injuries don't have to happen in week 1. Players can blow up for 2 months. 3 months before they go down when they're 28 years old. He will potentially wear down. He's already injured right now with the calf strain, out 2, maybe 3 weeks of practice, and walks blindly into week 1 with an unknown, let's test it out, see if it's better. That's an unknown concern that you don't know about that you're drafting right now in your fantasy league. So the Niners have CMC banged up. The Niners have Trent Williams holding out, who's an older player holding out. That's not a good recipe for staying healthy. Not to mention he's old enough that he's a concern of staying healthy anyway. You got Deebo Samuel looking amazing. Deebo Samuel to the mother freaking moon.
Let's go, mashed potatoes!
To the moon.
No, to Saturn.
To Saturn.
Deebo Samuel's going to ball. Deebo Samuel's the benefactor of everything, which is why he's a mother-flipping Mars man.
He's on a shuttle.
Look at
to
him.
Mars.
Look at him. Look at him.
Mars man.
And he's going to tear it up. He's going to tear it up this year. But you got CMC banged up. You don't know. You got Trent Williams holding out. You don't know. You've got no other wide receiver right now. You got an injured Ricky Pearsall. You don't know what you're doing. This team is definitely in some trouble. And while I don't think a nail in the coffin is a stake in the coffin, more like a nail in the coffin, pal. I don't know if I agree with what Joe's fully saying here, but I think he's on to something that if they don't get the Cleveland Brown deal done specifically, that sends Amari Cooper over and they rob the Browns blind, because the Browns give up everything. The Browns are horrible at trades. They're horrible at contracts. They're horrible at a lot of things. And John Lynch is not bad at those things, those specific things in terms of trades and finding ways to get these things done. They're not very good at contracts, obviously, in San Francisco, but they're great at doing trades. They're great at giving players raises later. They do try and do that. They're going to try and do it with Trent Williams. So there are some things that the San Francisco 49ers do amazingly, and one of them is making trades. The problem is Khan in Pittsburgh is the same way. That's why they're going like this, button heads. Over in Cleveland, you could take advantage. If the Niners want to win, they'll shut down the Steelers situation. They'll shut down any other situation for Aiyuk and say, we've opened up a path. That path is to Cleveland. We want Amari Cooper, and that's it. You either take this deal, and this is what the Niners might have ended up doing because the season's approaching. They can't dance around this anymore. You had an opportunity here in New England. You said no. Now you've got a Cleveland Brown opportunity. That's the only one we want. Take it or leave it, or come back home and roll your sleeves up and get ready to play football on your fifth-year option, young man, because that's the only option you have left. That's what's probably eventually going to happen if this thing keeps getting dragged out. And to be honest with you, it's a very John Lynch thing to do, and it's also something that I would do. And I'm trying to support Aiyuk here. I'm trying to be the one that doesn't tear him down, tear his character down like Niner fans did with Deebo, like Niner fans are doing with Brandon Aiyuk. Brandon Aiyuk, go kick rocks. You bring him back, you're going to love him again. Just like you do Deebo. Deebo's the best thing ever to you guys. Niner fans were tearing him apart, tearing him down. Mostert got injured. Niner fans went at him. Niner fans were so awful to Raheem Mostert when he got injured, and then he left San Francisco. We got Calvin with a $10 super chat. I'm coming for the super chats right now. I'm wrapping this up. All I know right now is what Diana Rossini is saying. The Steelers deal is currently off as they walk away from each other. Doesn't mean it's done. What side's going to bend? The Cleveland Brown deal, we'll find out. I don't know if that's still around. We got more news real quickly before we open phone lines, but before we open phone lines, we'll get after the super chats. Marvin Harrison Jr. is an absolute monster. You guys been seeing him catch footballs? This guy's going to have 15 touchdowns as a rookie. This guy's going to have 1,300 plus yards as a rookie. This guy's going to have probably the first or second best rookie season for a wide receiver in the history of the NFL. He is so polished. He's like a 3-year veteran out there. Cardinals head coach John Gannon said Marvin Harrison Jr. will play in the team's preseason opener, and I sense his value is going to go up a little bit every single inch we get closer to week 1, so get ready to pay the piper. This is kind of an interesting piece of news. Vidal is listed as the sixth best running back on the depth chart. Remember when I said, and again, depth charts, as I said yesterday, are very fickle right now. Don't trust them fully at all. We've heard Fields is number 2 on the depth chart. I don't care about that. Some intern on his lunch break that sat on the keyboard entered that. I'm not worried about that. Fields is the one out there doing work. And anybody that says Russell Wilson's going to start, you don't know what you're talking about. You don't know ball. You don't know ball. For someone to say Fields will start as a prediction, that's different. Or Russell Wilson will start as a prediction. But when you come in and say, no, Fields is already starting, you don't know football. You don't know football because Fields is out there doing it. Fields is out there doing it, and Russell Wilson is not. And preseason's approaching, and if Fields goes out there and does well and Russell can't play or plays badly, guess who's starting week 1? Fields, no matter what your little depth chart says. It doesn't matter. Start using your noggin. Because when you spout out things like that in my live chat, like, hey, Russell Wilson's already expected. They said he's the pole position man, and Months ago, they said Russell Wilson was going to start. What are you talking about? Oh, the depth chart came out. Who cares about the depth chart? Fields is destroying the depth chart. And they're maybe starting to light a fire under Fields to see how much they can get out of him. Get out of here with your depth chart stuff. Now, this is a little more worrisome because he's number 6 on the depth chart. And I told you guys, this guy Harbaugh is off his rocker. And everybody's defending him. I'm the only one that's questioning whether this man's sane. I'm the only one asking the question over and over. Does Harbaugh know what in the hell he's doing? Everyone's giving him a blank check of expectation. Supposedly he knows what he's doing. He's won national championships. This guy's a national champion. He's done it before in San Francisco, right? We're just going to give him total leeway. We're going to trust him. He's going to get it done. Yeah, he's going to draft a wide receiver. That's why he got rid of Keenan Allen for a ham sandwich. Asked the number 3/4 wide receiver from 2023 to take a pay cut or leave. And we'll trade you for a ham sandwich. That's the guy. He's going to replace him with Neighbors. He'll draft. Don't worry, Smitty. Harbaugh will draft. He's not drafting Neighbors. Smitty, he's not drafting a lineman they don't need, because then they'd have to move what? Who are they going to move over to the other side of the? Oh, they're drafting him. Oh, they did take him. Damn it. Okay. Well, he knows what he's doing. He's building from the trenches, Smitty. You build from the trenches, Smitty. We're bringing an RB. We're running the ball. Henry. Oh, we didn't get Henry. Oh, we didn't get Barkley. We got J.K. Dobbins coming back from an Achilles tear. No running back in the history of the NFL, in NFL history, has torn their Achilles tendon and returned ever to be a top 10 running back. Return to top 10 running back status or become a top 10 running back status. An Achilles injury for a running back is the death of the running back. And any running back, like I said with Cam Akers when he tried to come back a year early, anybody that tries to come back within a calendar year at all is going to re-injure, tear the other Achilles or get injured. We nailed that to a T. And you think JK is going to come in and stay healthy, the most injury-prone running back left in the National Football League? Him and Cam Akers are the most injury-prone running backs in the National Football League. And you expect J.K. Dobbins to stay healthy, coming off 2 years ago an ACL tear that he's probably still not fully over, coming off an Achilles tear he's certainly not over. And then you've got Gus Edwards, another ACL player. This is all ACL team. This is what Harbaugh's doing. And they draft this guy. And I've been on board. I've been saying Vidal, he's a midseason monster. We want to believe in him. He is the most talented running back on the roster by far. But will Harbaugh know it? Will he understand it? He's putting this man 6 on the unofficial, mind you. I just went over a whole rant on that. Unofficial depth chart. Could be a motivational thing. But it worries me because I did say, I wonder what is he going to know that Vidal's the guy? Is he going to understand that? He drafted him, Smitty. He did a lot of things. This guy's building a wild team. And if you say to me one time in my chat, Smitty, what, you think you know more than Harbaugh about building a team? Yeah, obviously I do. Why would I be here if I didn't think I knew more than half of the GMs and coaches in this league? Could I coach a team better than Harbaugh? Hell no. I'm not a moron. I'm not a total moron. But could I build a better team? You bet your bottom dollar. And you want me to give you an example of building a better team? Bringing in Derrick Henry, Barkley, or Jacobs alone. Doing that, drafting linemen in round 1. Let's say you still take McConkey. Let's just say you want McConkey. I don't think McConkey's going to be as good as you think, if you're a McConkey fan out there, in this system with this guy at the helm, Harbaugh. I don't think so. But if you kept everything the same, kept Keenan Allen, didn't get rid of Keenan Allen for a ham sandwich, didn't ask him to take a pay cut after he was wide receiver 3 in 2023, all you had to do to build a better team. So yes, I could build a better team than Harbaugh. 100%. Why? Keep Keenan Allen. It's a better team. Boom. I already did it. Keep Keenan Allen. Bring in Henry, Jacobs, or Barkley when you're going to be a between the trenches, run the football, number 1 running team in the league. Bring in one of those running backs. Don't give me the money. Don't give me the money. You could find the money for running backs in the couch cushions. Don't even give me that example or excuse. Restructure one person. You're fine. You'll be okay. You could afford Barkley, Jacobs, or Henry. Don't give me that. That's all you got to do. Bring in one of those big dogs. Keep Keenan Allen. You already have 2 times the team. Maybe 3 times a better team that you're looking at right now. This is concerning. So is everything coming out of the mouth of Harbaugh? Sounds like a word salad every time he opens his mouth. Oh, squirrel. Look at over there. Do you know what time it is, coach? Well, let me tell you a story about time. Time was invented by a squirrel that was struck by lightning that was trying to do 50 push-ups in a row. First squirrel to ever do 50 push-ups. I was telling Margaret when I was on the porch drinking a homegrown beer, because I make my own beer in the trailer, that I go around this guy's an absolute loon. He's a loon. Every word out of his mouth is a loon. My mom in a bathing suit. He's talking about his mom in a bathing suit. What's he doing? Herbert, how's Herbert? Herbert could be a edge rusher. Herbert could be our edge rusher. He could be a linebacker for our team. Herbert could play edge rusher for this team. This guy's wild. Super chats are flowing in like wine. I got the first one from Kirkwood, which is a $20 hauler. Kirkwood, I'm coming for you, pal. Appreciate you. Hit that thumb up button on the way in the door. Calvin Krim with a $10 hauler. Kevin with a $2 hauler. Jaime with a $5 hauler. Appreciate you. Cheryl with the $5 hauler. Young with a $2 hauler. I'm going to answer these right now in order of which they came in. I'm sorry about the rant. It was a little long today. Kirkwood dropping a 20 spot. Kirkwood, you're the man.
Alert. Super chat alert.
Chase Brown! Chase Brown! Smitty, good to be back. My crew is wanting a vote on dropping the kicker and having 3 flex spots. We have 4 bench spots, so what are your views on and disadvantages? There's no disadvantages in dropping a kicker. It's fine. Smitty approved that. It's kind of a fun, position to have in some respects, and in others, it's just kind of mundane. So I'm okay with it. I don't think it's something that majority of your league wants it. It's not going to tear the league apart. You're getting rid of kickers, but some people are traditional and they want to keep it, and I'm fine with that. But 100% Smitty approved dropping a kicker. It's not even something that you need my opinion on. Just make sure you get a majority of the vote. That way you don't have, if it's 50-50 or 6 people out of 6 people say yes, 5 say no, and 1 doesn't vote, it's barely passing. Make sure it's majority. Chase Brown, thank you, Young. Appreciate you dropping a super chat. Cheryl coming in with a $5 wad says, hey, Smitty, Chase Brown, here's my question. Given how high we are on T-Law, or were on T-Law last year, what are your thoughts on his practically free value this year? Fantasy-wise, I'm not probably going near it because there's so many other options. You could list off 15 other quarterbacks that should be starting for you over T-Law, or at least 14. And then backup quarterback, give me Cousins and Penix Jr. as a backup quarterback. Give me Fields right now over T-Law. And if I've got to go in a different direction later, I will, but I'll take the gamble because Fields could be number 2, number 3, number 4 every single week he plays, and he looks like he's in pole position to start regardless of the Russell Wilson believers that only believe in him because they only have Russell Wilson on their team. Of course, I heard Russell Wilson on the depth chart, Smitty. Fields is just destroying him. Fields is 6'3". Russell Wilson's 5'11". Russell Wilson talks to imaginary people and gives imaginary high fives when he runs out of a huddle and is called Mr. Unlimited, that he named himself. And the other one's out there balling in practice, impressing the team and everyone. The team wants Fields to start. I can tell you that right now. The team wants Fields to start. The team's behind Fields. They're also behind the 6'3" guy, not the 5'11" guy. Okay, the offensive line wants Fields to start. This guy's mobile. He can run. He can extend the play. Arthur Smith wants Fields to start because he wants to run Justin Fields because he loves to run the ball. I'm not saying we love Arthur Smith, but look, he's in a place where they want to run the damn ball, and Fields can run the ball as good as any quarterback in the National Football League. I would say T-Law, I hope he comes around. I will be rooting for the Law Dog to do well for the sake of BT, for the sake of Kirk, for the sake of Gabe Davis, for the sake of ETN, and for the sake of every other Jaguar fan out there. I will be rooting for him. And could he return to Goff level? Absolutely. I'll Smitty approve. He could become Jared Goff good in fantasy and in NFL at some point. I'm hopeful of that. My only concern is he's definitely struggled. I feel like he's in a situation where he keeps getting hit with adversity. He's had a lot of change in systems, and his first year was complete waste of time, and they had to restart everything. So he's kind of been struggling and not developed properly. So my fear would be that he was not developed properly and he will fail, but I do still think he's very good. And keep in mind that Goff was 2 years ago even laughed at in fantasy worlds as to being a guy you'd even want in your lineup. And now, because the offense has gotten better around him and he's become pretty solid, right? Listen to what I'm saying. You Goff, believer out there typing away like a keyboard warrior right now. Goff's pretty good, Smitty. I'm not saying he isn't. I'm saying his situation is so much better that Goff is producing, and he's reliable to a lot of people right now. I'm saying T-Lock could eventually be that. I just don't think I would bet my team on it, my future on it, and I wouldn't bet any money on it, and I'd be hopeful, but I would be sitting there kind of watching, cheering from the sideline, but not something that I'm really behind. I think he's going to be good for BT, and I think BT's situation, Brian Thomas Jr., the rookie wide receiver in Jacksonville, I think he'll be pretty good, but it's a big enough worry that BT is now ranked well below Keon Coleman, who's going to the mother freaking moon. Mars, forgive me, he's going to Mars. You guys are marvel. Keon Coleman's going to the mother freaking moon. You want to have a conversation about Keon Coleman? Have a problem with Keon Coleman? You see me. I'm the guy you need to see. Jaime did a Superflex best ball last night. 12 pick, got Jordan Love, Kirk, Penix Jr., Stack, grabbed Big Joe Milton at the end just for you. Thank you. I like Joe Milton. I don't know if he'll ever get a chance. I would say this in Superflex, be careful because you don't want a lot of zeros, and it's nice to grab a guy like that. Him and Rattler have potential, but you could get hit with a big fat zero. So you got to be kind of careful when you grab guys that may not play in best ball. But this is a good quarterback room. I love the Penix Jr., Kirk Cousins, Jordan Love stack. It makes for a fantastic best ball machine because Kirk's going to ball. And if Kirk gets hurt or gets replaced, Penix is going to ball. And you're guaranteed a pretty damn good quarterback all year long. We got a $20 holler. $20 hollers jump the line. $20 hollers jump the line.
Alert. Super chat alert.
This one's from Edward. Edward, appreciate you, my guy. Dropping a wad right on the screen. What half PPR at 1.4? If CMC, Brees, Bijan, and Gibbs and Tyreek are all being kept, who would you target first 2 rounds? I'm keeping 11 round Achane. It's a loaded question, bro. I mean, I'm obviously very, very, very happy with Kyron. You're talking about big dog running backs being kept, and he and Achane are at the 12-13 turn, not because I think they deserve to be, because you can get away with it. So you start ripping RBs off the board and they're kept. I mean, CMC, Brees Hall, Bijan, Gibbs. You're getting down to where I'm loving Kyron Williams. And if I pull up a best ball ADP and I look at the RBs and I say to myself, Bijan, CMC, Hall, Gibbs, all gone. You got JT, Barkley, HN. You got Kyren, Pacheco, ETN. There's a big gap between Kyren Williams, JT, and Barkley right below him, and then the rest of the field. So Barkley, and it's keeper, right? But not full dynasty. So Barkley still has 2 years left. He's a great player to have in a keeper league. Even CMC is more valuable in this format than he is in, obviously, dynasty. So I'm going to say, in this order, Kyren, Barkley, and probably JT in that order, or JT Barkley if you want to have a little bit extra keeper value. Then you start getting into the Pachecos and ETNs, and they're a tier below, so you got to be careful to take them right there. I'd say, like, wide receiver wise, if Tyreek Hill's the only wide receiver kept, you're talking about CeeDee Lamb, who we're worried about, but this is a keeper league. He's probably right above Kyren. Like, you're keeping CeeDee Lamb. Even with the risk involved of a holdout, you're drafting CeeDee Lamb first. He'll be taken. So it depends where your draft selection is. It sounds 11th round maybe what you have. A.J. Brown in a keeper is fine. He has 1 to 2 years left, but in a keeper you're fine. Jamar Chase. I think all those guys except for A.J. Brown could go ahead of Kyren. Then so Chase, Lamb, JJ, and then even maybe Amon-Ra. If you need a wide receiver, you want to go wide receiver, then it's Kyren. But I would take Kyren as high as right after Lamb and Chase personally, but that's me. I love Kyren that much. As you get into the second round, you got London, you got Debo, you got Garrett Wilson, you got Puka Nacua. You're loaded there unless all those guys are kept. And maybe they are. I don't know. Sounds like you're giving me a list of players, but maybe there are second rounders you haven't given me. I think you need to call in, Edward. This is too big of a question to really like map out all of the different scenarios, but at least you have an idea of who I love when I'm sitting there at that first round pick. Jay with a $20 holler jumps the line.
Alert. Super chat alert.
Jay, appreciate you. Jay Smart, who drops a lot of fun sticker super chats all the time. In best ball, and you're drafting in the top 4 spots, do you ever reach for some of your guys at the top of your turn in the third when the draft starts to suggest they are comparable players? Position won't come back. Yeah, I do. I think reaching's okay in a draft. Just make sure you're not reaching to the point where you could have got the player at that next pick. I think anytime you take, let's say, Kyren let's say you got back-to-back 12, 13 picks in a first round. I'm just giving you an example. I take Achane and Kyren there all the time in best ball. And in best ball, Kyren goes at the top of 3 and Achane goes at the bottom of 2. But I'm not going to see those guys back. And to me, they can crush 12 and 13 overall value. So 1,000%. 1,000%. I'm smashing the hell out of a reaching Kyren, or you're reaching for Achane. As for when we're talking about being somewhere along the lines of like you said the third, when you turn in the third, when the draft suggests, let's see here, at the top of the turn in the third, I think like if we're talking about a Nico, no. If we're talking about a Pittman Jr., hell no. Like, I like Pittman Jr., but hell no. If we're talking about you need a wide receiver bad and DK's the best there because everybody's reached like crazy, I'm okay with that. If you're talking about you don't like anything, you're going to take Josh Allen, who's in the at the 2.12. Sure, he could be the best scorer in all of fantasy football. There's nothing wrong with reaching there. You're talking about taking Mahomes, let's say, if you want to talk about reaching my guys. Mahomes goes in best ball in the 4th round. But would I take him at the 2-3 turn with Kelsey to stack it? Sure. Would I take AR5 there? No. So I don't mind reaching, but the one like fast rule I have with reaching is that if you reach one time, it's okay. You reach 2 times, especially in the top 3 picks, you will be looking at your team later going, it's pretty light. I don't know that I've got a lot of depth. It does not feel like a great team. You can recover from one reach. Doing 2 reaches is tough. It's a tough thing to recover from. I think Kyren and Achane at 12-13 is not reaching, though. I don't even think those are reaches at all. So it's a tough situation. Jay, call in to discuss further, because this is also a very, very deep question, and I think you could get a lot from dialing in. And I appreciate keep the super chats coming. I'm not complaining about those, but I definitely can help you further on that. Breece Hall for 1.1, number one fantasy player in 2024, says Kevin. Kevin, we don't hate what you're saying.
Get Breece.
Breece Hall is 8 foot tall. He will always answer the mother freaking call. Don't let him fall. In the third, don't stall. Just give Batman the freaking football.
He's Breece. He's Breece.
He does a hell of a job. A hell of a job. A hell of a job.
Breece Hall, please report to the moon.
He does a hell of a job.
I mean, Breece could be one, Bijan could be one, Gibbs could be one, CMC could be one, Kyren could be one. The list goes on. And then a $10 hauler from Calvin Krim with a 10 wad. This catches us up on Super Chat, so we'll open the phone line. Calvin Krim, appreciate you. Calvin says, hey, Smitty, in my first Dynasty draft right now, in the 11th spot, McCaffrey drops to me. Tyreek then drops to me at 14. I grabbed both. I don't know how to feel about it. Look, man, you're going to smash your league to pieces this year. Do I feel like, you're going to be upset next year? Maybe. But you're going to win the championship this year. You'll be okay. There's something about winning a championship that makes rebuilding okay. And we're going to help you, Calvin, get the Colemans, get the players like Jaylen Warren, etc., so that you're built and set up for when CMC falls off. You'll be okay. This is a good strategic move to take. If there's a lot of cash money involved, I like it. And you're going to be potentially okay for 2 years. Maybe Christian McCaffrey has 2 years left. I would only bet on him having, one. And we're holding our breath because he's walking and injured already. But you can't be mad at yourself for that draft approach when someone gifted you this and that, and you've got a fantastic start. It's good. You're good. Yes, my God. Thank you for the super chat, Calvin. I like it. And we all need a couple different versions of different Dynasty teams, bro. It's fun to build something up, and you might run into Kyren and seamlessly, like the next Kyren, and seamlessly replace. Maybe Trey Benson. Get your hands on Trey Benson. He could be your recovery from losing CMC. Yes, my guy. Much appreciated. Thank you, Jay. Dropping another 20 watt on screen.
Alert. Super chat alert.
Jay, make sure you call in, because I would like to help you further on your question. There's so many angles to it. WCOE33 dropping a 20 watt on screen.
Alert. Super chat alert.
Appreciate you. WCO, appreciate you. Dynasty 12 team, PPR 1.5 tight end premium, 1 QB tight end premium. Okay, 1 QB tight end premium. No, wait, not 1 QB, Superflex. I see that right there in the middle. Okay, so Kyler, Tua, good. Good quarterbacks. Penix Jr., very safe. I like that. Okay, running backs, Brooks, Warren. Okay. JJ Neighbors, wow. Pickens, like it. We'll see what happens with Aiyuk. Pickens' value does fluctuate a little bit with that. Kyle Pitts, love it. I love the team. Traded the 25 and 26 first for London. Wow. So you got London, JJ Neighbors, and I hope you can still start Pickens. It looks like you can, because you got so many flex options. Great team. Now, you are kind of living and dying by Brooks and Warren this year, because that could take you down even with this production at wide receiver, but I think you're in good hands there. I think Warren's fantastic. Brooks is really good. I'd be very tempted to try my best to use. You get up all your first rounders, though. I don't know if you can trade. I don't know if you. I'd be very tempted to use Pickens and Brooks to go get a Kyren or an Achane. That's kind of where my mind goes, bro. Past that, Achane, Kyren using that strategy, and you might like Brooks enough there. That's fine. Trading Brooks for Benson straight up too, because Brooks is starting right when he comes back, even though he's out weeks 1, 2, 3, maybe 4. If anybody didn't know that, Brooks is not playing weeks 1, 2, 3, and he may or may not play 4. People are assuming he's starting. Benson, no one knows when, so Benson's cheaper. I'd rather have Benson personally, but I love this team. It's a fantastic squad. Smitty approved.
You've just been Smitty approved.
What a squad. And final super chat for now. File them in, and I'll answer them in order of which are received. Thoughts on Ridley this year? Hopkins doesn't need surgery, but he's injured. He's older. Hopkins is 87 years old, and he's already hurt. This is why he was kind of a real hard player to draft. And that's why Adams is a hard player to draft. He is. Christian McCaffrey's a hard player to draft. You get to a certain age, Adams is there at wide receiver. CMC's there at running back, whether you want to hear it or not. Derrick Henry's well past his expiration date, and he's got arguably one of the most concerning offensive lines in the NFL, potentially bottom 5. Some would argue not, but I would say, yeah, it's potentially bottom 5. You lose, what do you lose? Both guards and a tackle. I mean, it's bad there in Baltimore. Golf, appreciate you. As far as Ridley, though, your question was Ridley. I like him. Do I like him as a high-end wide receiver 2? No. Do I think his ADP is going to climb too high? I do. I think people are going to take him like where I'd rather Coleman. I'd rather have Worthy and Rashee Rice right now, maybe, potentially over Ridley. I like Ridley a lot. I do. I just don't know if we're going to get what we want out of him. And I don't know that I want to ride that train again at the cost of entry. I would if it was very cheap. If it was cheaply able to be had, I would take a ride on the Ridley train one more time. Really, really would. I really would. I just don't know if I'm ready to take him in the 5th round. So I think I'm out. Appreciate you, Golf. Hopefully he gets to become a more reasonable player to draft. Phone lines are open now. Super chats are cleared out for the moment. So if you want to get an immediate question answered, super chat, and you will be there. And this phone number is there for the taking.
Call into the show. Call into the show.
Alan says Harbaugh gutted the Chargers. He certainly did. He's also gutting the minds of everybody listening to his press conferences because I don't know what in the hell he's saying half the time back there. Phone lines open. Dial in. Let's have a discussion, preferably about the topics at hand if you can, before you start spouting off your selfish questions about your fantasy team, which I'm certainly here to help you with. But I would love to have a conversation about these guys that are, in the mix right now here in the news. Let me put these 2 callers on hold real quickly. Let's go to the caller is 785. What is your name and where are you calling from? 785 caller. Everybody else mute, please. 785 caller. Where are you calling from? What is your name?
My name's Mike.
My name's Orion.
Are there 2 785 callers? Really?
I'm 716.
Then, so why are you talking?
I'm 785.
Just asking. I'm not trying to be rude. I'm just asking. Okay, let's try this again. 785 caller. What's your name and where are you calling from?
What's up? My name's Orion. I'm calling from Kansas.
All right, Ryan from Kansas. What can I do for you, bro?
So what's up? At the end of my draft, I've been taking Tyrone Tracy Jr. I just kind of wanted to get your feelings on him. Like, do you think he could be a good sleeper, or like he could take over the job from Singletary?
Maybe. I mean, the offense is horrible. I think it's all going to ride on Neighbors. I think this organization's the worst run organization in the entire NFL. I think that Joe Shane shouldn't be the janitor, let alone the GM. I think he's an absolute imbecile. And I think that they don't know what they have. It reminds me of Harbaugh's usage of potential. Can someone turn down the background music? What the hell is going on here? Everybody mute that isn't being talked to right now. And I don't know, Orion, if you got the show playing in the background or what the heck's going on, but I hear a whole bunch of background noise. I don't mind Tracy, but Ziggy, how old is Tyrone Tracy? Ziggy, volume 10. Guess how old he is, bro.
Let me guess, like 20, 22, 23?
He turns 25 in November. That's an old RB, bro. He's almost at the decline. He's almost at the age of decline. Yeah, he's an old player. So you got to be careful drafting Tyrone. It's easy to fall in love with he's an unknown name. He's going to a spot that's got a lot of vacancy. Maybe he climbs up. He's turning 25 years old. This guy's 3 years younger than Christian McCaffrey, and we're worried the hell about McCaffrey dropping off. It's wild.
Damn.
Yeah, it's crazy. Dynasty owners need to
I did not know that.
He's Tyrone Tracy. He might be your dad. He's definitely an older guy. But anyway, all right, hang tight. Mute yourself real quick, Orion. We'll give you another shot at another question. Can I go to the 321 caller? 321 caller. What is your name and where are you calling from?
My name is Johnny. I'm from Orlando.
Johnny from Orlando. What can I do for you, Johnny?
What's up, man? I've got a Superflex startup Dynasty draft coming up, and
you do.
I have the 11th pick. And I know you would love to start with Gibbs and Marvin Harrison Jr., but do you think I should go quarterback with at least one of those picks, or try to get those two studs and then build around the quarterback?
Can whoever is mouth breathing on the phone please mute yourself? I don't know if that's I added somebody. I don't know if that was Alex. Alex, is that you? I hear maybe you're not mouth breathing, but you're doing something in there. Somebody's doing something in the background. Just mute yourself, please.
My bad, I was on mute.
Yeah, okay. So 11 overall and 14 overall. Your plan in Superflex, bro, should always be to draft an elite quarterback in round 1 if you can. Now, it becomes a really, really dicey scenario when you get to 11, 12, and you're forced to take. I'm not saying Dak can't win leagues and help you win leagues in a Superflex, but if for whatever reason it's a tough pill to swallow to be like, hey, give me Dak, but Love's there, JD5 is often there, and JD5 in a Superflex is pretty damn good in this 11-14 territory. Now, if you can get JD5 with the 14 pick, you're a little better off. Then you can go with the absolute non-QB stud at 11 if you wanted. You could also try and draft Love at 11. You could take Dak there. Again, it's not like a sexy pick, but it gets the job done. And he was QB like top 3 or 4 depending on your scoring last year. He still got it. I mean, Dak's still a great quarterback, but it just doesn't. It's hard to do because that's your first round pick. But Love and JD5 would be good too. But my ultimate strategy, which does not play very well in the 11 spot, just to be honest, is to go elite quarterback, and then in round 2, 3, preferably 4, preferably 5, you return to non-QB drafting and you dominate all of these players that essentially in a Superflex, round 2 has round 1 players in it. If you're thinking 1 QB, right? You have Bijan, you have Gibbs, you have St. Brown in round 2. In round 3, you have round 2 players. So you have guys that are in round 2 like Debo, Kyron, Achane. In round 3, Marvin Harrison Jr. sometimes at the top of round 3. You could get Marvin Harrison Jr. in a Superflex as your third drafted player. So the key to winning a Superflex draft, I don't care who is watching right now. I don't care if you disagree or agree. I don't really care. I'll tell you what the key to winning a Superflex is you finding a quarterback that plays like everybody else's second round pick quarterback that they drafted. You grab that guy, and that could be Fields with Russell Wilson just to be safe. It could be Fields, or it could be Cousins and Penix Jr. cuffed. You get one of those scenarios with one of your QBs, and you're able to get Bijan and MHJ with your second and third round picks, you're winning the league. My strategy last year was Jordan Love. You get Jordan Love later, you're winning your Superflex. And gosh darn it, people won Superflexes.
Yeah, you got to hit on the right quarterback late. You're saying as your second QB.
I mean, if you do it, you do it, you're crushing everyone. As long as your picks that you grabbed in round 2, 3, 4 were all healthy and they smashed. I mean, think about it, bro. If you get anything close to what people are getting as a second round drafted quarterback, how are you not beating the skates off them when you're getting Bijan And you're also getting MHJ in rounds 2 and 3 and so on, all the way down. You're playing a round ahead of everyone. And Penix Jr. and Kirk Cousins, smash. If it's a dynasty, Kirk Cousins, Penix Jr., do it live every time. Just take Fields if you can as well. But Fields might win. Fields was a top 3, 4, 5, 6 quarterback every time practically he started last year, and he busted. What do people think is going to happen when he goes to a better situation where his team loves him right now?
Right. So what about if
what is that? It sounds like Chewbacca or a Tyrannosaurus Rex in the background. What is going on the phone line?
What about if it gets to me and the top 5 QBs are off? Like if Josh Allen, Mahomes, Hurts, AR5, and Lamar are all gone, that would mean that there's some premium wide receivers or running backs available. Do you still think I should go QB or just kind of mix it up?
I can't tell you unless I'm on the clock. I can't tell you. I can only tell you the winning formula is you get Cousins and Penix Jr. with Fields, or Fields and Russell Wilson with Penix Jr., and you're smashing everybody into a bunch of little pieces if you land your second, third round picks. Is it crazy to go JD5 and Love, or Dak and Love, or Dak and JD5 at 11 and 14? No, it's not. You can still crush. Okay, I'll let you get back to the dinosaurs, Johnny. Appreciate you, bro.
Thank you. Smitty to the moon. Thank you.
All right, later. Good Lord, man. It sounded like a Tyrannosaurus Rex met I don't know what. And maybe that person that had that in the background is still on the phone line unmuted. I don't know. Let me go over to I'm going to go to Travis. And Travis, you're a Mars man. Do you want to go now, or do you want to be a gentleman like you always are?
I'll just go quick and then let you go.
He's like, I got to talk. No, I'm not giving my Mars man card authority away. What can I do for you, Travis? Use it.
I usually do. So.
Yeah, no, but Travis, it's yours. You take it. Travis has a Mars card, and he can jump anybody on the phone line. That's just the way it is. What's up?
Just see our guy Joe Milton's in.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
What? Say.
Joe Milton.
What about him?
He's playing right now.
Oh, yeah.
He's playing.
Yeah.
Yeah, just had a nice run. It'd be interesting to see what he can do.
Yeah, it's hard for me I'm trying to watch and get it all on TV as well at the same time, and it's like my YouTube TV's having problems. And I'm getting all these program blocked in your area freaking things, and it's just frustrating me, and I'm like, I'm on a live stream, I can't even load it right. Like, what in the hell is going on here? Giants game, that one's not loading for me. Carolina Panthers, let's see if that one's loading for me. What in the hell? What do I pay $500 for to have this entire package? And I click it, it's like, not in your area. What, I can't watch a game that's a million miles away? Like, what's going on? All right, Joe Milton to the moon, hopefully. I really love Joe Milton. I love Joe Milton.
Yeah, it looks like he's taking what the defense gives him, so that's the only way he's going to improve and do what he has to do.
Can I hear that dinosaur again? Does anybody on the phone line have that dinosaur?
No, what was that?
Handy? I want to know what that is. It was like Chase Brown.
They might have got taken out. I don't know if they're with us anymore.
What else you got, Travis? Before I bounce around the phone line, I'm obviously going to come back to you, but
no, go ahead. Bounce
okay.
around.
I believe Hector was first. Let's go to Hector, then Orion. Hector, go ahead, then Orion.
Hey there, Smitty. I just wanted to call back in and check in from last night when I called in and asked about trading off CMC in Dynasty.
Okay.
So one of the offers got accepted, so I got Kyron and a third-round pick for next year for him. And I was super happy about it. My league acted like I got fleeced. It was weird.
Well, your league doesn't understand how good Kyron Williams is. Like, can I get a roll call in the chat on this one? Like this is a dynasty league, okay? This is not a redraft. What side do you want? This is a guy that's 3 months older than Corum, and I definitely would. Did you say you have Corum?
Yeah, you have Corum.
You have Corum? I don't like this trade. I love this trade. This guy's got Corum, okay, and he traded CMC, who's got a calf injury right now. Does anybody not see how this trade makes him an absolute monster of a squad this year. What do people think? What's your league doing? What are they watching? Are they watching ESPN? Like, what are they watching? Where are they?
Surprised, man. I was super shocked when I started getting flack for it. I was super happy after you accepted.
Well, I hope you don't look at these novice that are in your league. No offense, if any of them are watching right now. I don't think they're watching or they would understand football. But to really think that you're getting fleeced when this guy is 28 years old. Do you realize that 1 year ago from today, we had the same kind of thinking with Austin Eckler. People are like, he's 28 years old. He was awesome in 2023. You remember when Austin Eckler was awesome in 2023? He was awesome. I'm sorry, 2022. 2022. And you're walking into 2023, same age as Christian McCaffrey is walking into 2024, and everybody would have said, hey, you can't believe you traded Austin Eckler. He was on fire in 2022. He's still got a couple years left. He catches the ball a lot. There's Joe Milton throwing footballs. Come on, catch the ball. You know, this is the part that's frustrating. Watching Joe Milton in practice throwing missiles, and these receivers, Boutte, dropping it.
He's been playing well tonight, too.
I really hope this staff is smart enough to understand that had nothing to do with Joe Milton. I don't know, though, Travis.
I think they are.
I hope so.
I think they were. I think they're going to dump Zappy after this week.
He looked like Boutte on that one. What in the hell was he thinking? Anyway, bro,
Yeah,
don't listen to anybody that says that Christian McCaffrey. I did to the person that said he could have got more for McCaffrey. That's the only thing I would say, because I don't think you presented me with this exact offer. I just said go get Kyren. So the only thing I would tell you if I was to be critical of you is that I told you I got H-N and DK last night, and you come back and you got Kyren in a third rounder. So I obviously got way more than you did. And it sounds like your league, who thinks you got overwhelmingly fleeced, probably would have overpaid. But the thing is, this guy may not have. And maybe he's pretending that he also feels like he fleeced you when all night long he was struggling to make the trade and he wouldn't have given you more. But it is what it is. You know, like, do I think you could have got a little bit more? I do. But at the end of the day, if I'm in a dynasty startup, am I drafting Christian McCaffrey over Kyren Williams? The answer is hell no. And especially if I've got Corum already or I'm going to draft Corum. You did well. It's just you could have got more because your league's telling you that. That's the only mistake maybe that was made. But I wouldn't worry about it. Let them laugh at you, bro. Like these guys don't understand what they're talking about. Anybody that doesn't like Kyren Williams, I'm sorry. If you're watching right now and you're saying in the chat, I don't like Kyren. I think I saw a couple no Kyrens. I don't know who wrote it, so I apologize in advance. But you don't know what you're talking about. You're kind of saying you don't know ball. Which offends me because I'm your teacher. And if you're watching right now and you don't know ball, that's on me. That's on me. But Kyren is every time he plays, 67% of the time he's a top 10 running back. When he plays, 50% of the time he's a top 5 running back. There's no better running back in the National Football League, statistically, from last year than Kyren Williams and Christian McCaffrey. And he's arguably, even with the injuries that are potentially on the table right now, he's got arguably the best offensive line in the National Football League. Don't listen to anybody, bro. You just walk yourself into a glorious situation and enjoy. Get the popcorn ready. All right, hang tight, Orion. Am I talking to Orion? Or Hector?
This is Hector.
Okay, Hector, mute yourself real quickly. And Orion, do you have the Tyrannosaurus Rex, Orion? Was that you? You're live.
No, I was on mute.
Damn, who had the dinosaur? Go ahead, Orion. What can I do for you?
Just one more thing. A couple of my league mates have been kind of sleeping on Kenneth Walker, and I really don't see like Zach Charbonnet taking his spot or overcoming him. Do you think, like, how do you feel about Kenneth Walker?
Look,
I'm feeling pretty good.
This is how I feel about Kenneth Walker.
Kenneth Skywalker. Kenneth lightsaber swinging Skywalker.
He's a moon man. He's a moon man. We made him a moon man last night, actually. He's always been a moon man. And for those, real quick story, because I told it last night, he's the reason we have the moon man, Mars man, Saturn man. Because when I first talked about him as an incoming rookie, we'd always did to the moon, stuff like that. But the reason I created the actual physical boards was because I always said he's a space monster. He dominates space. Eddie, mute yourself if you could. He dominates space. He's a space monster. Send him to the moon because he dominates outer space. And it just started to evolve to the boards. But Kenneth Walker is a space magician. And there's no running back in the NFL that moves like Barry Sanders or Marshall Faulk anymore. And I'm not trying to compare Walker to Barry. If you're going to say that in the chat, you aren't listening. Get the earwax out of your ears and your nasal cavity. It's Walker moves and starts and stops like Marshall Faulk did, like Barry did to a degree. Not as well. I'm just saying there's no one in the NFL that stops on a dime and it looks like they like go in reverse. It's kind of like, it's like a remote control car. You know, a remote control car can just like stop all of a sudden, go in another direction. That's how Walker runs. That's how he catches. And as I've said to people, he was mishandled by the last regime. Pete Carroll liked him, and he loved him at times, but he didn't use him right. Ryan Grubb, very much thought to be a one running back guy, bringing that mentality over. Aerial attack, spread out attack, open rushing lanes because the defense is being stretched. Kenneth Walker is going to be in his domain. Kenneth Walker is going to be in his domain where he's got big gaps everywhere on the field to navigate to. He's like a magnet to open space, and he's a home run hitter. And in every report we're getting right now indicates that Kenneth Walker is, and the reason I'm on this board is because Charbonnet still is important. Everything we're hearing, Kenneth Walker is the unquestioned starter. So if we were hearing some talk like, hey, don't really know, what to think. They're splitting work in the backfield. I'm not saying Charbonnet's not getting anything, but we're not hearing anything close to like, oh, this is a committee or anything like that. So very, very excited about Walker, and he could definitely be a league winner in his like 6th round territory, 6th, 7th round. It's not like you have to take him at 4 or 5, sometimes late 5, but he's better in round 6. If you can get him around 6, you got to win a league player. Win a league player, very little risk. Make sure you cuff him to Charbonnet. There aren't a lot of important cuffs in fantasy football. This is the cuff board, but everybody you see in the top 4 must cuff. Everybody, especially these 3 together. Oh, you cuffed 3 together. Never heard of that before. Well, maybe you haven't heard of this show before. Innovate. Be different. Cuff all 3. Stop messing around with the past. Move forward. Be innovative. I love when people argue this with me. Call in if you want to. These 3 players should be cuffed together. But the cuffs they get lesser in value as you go down. Okay, and I move these around every time I look at it. So it's not cemented in. But Charbonnet, Algier, Jaylen Warren. Jaylen Warren's got that standalone value. Harris has that standalone value. So they're almost like a weird cuff on this board. But Charbonnet and Algier are kind of the next men up on this cuff board. Chase Brown and Zach Moss I keep moving them down and then I want to move them back up every time I see this board. Because that's a good cuff too. There's some good cuffs, but they're not a lot of great cuffs. But I would say Charbonnet's a must cuff, bro.
Well, sure, perfect. That's all I wanted to hear. That puts all my nerves at ease.
Yeah. Unless you spend a 3rd rounder on him. Yeah, if you spend a 3rd rounder on him, I'd be a little worried.
Oh, yeah, no.
Yeah, all right, later, bro.
All right, take it easy.
All right, that was, who was that? Hector? That was Hector, right? No, it was Orion. Orion, appreciate you. All right, next up would be Alex, and then we're going over to Mike. Alex, then Mike. Alex, you're first. You're live. Everybody else, please stay muted. Go ahead. You're live, pal.
So those early 1st round guys, like Chase and CeeDee, who are holding out, how long do you think they would have to remain out before they start dropping even more, like exponentially, in rankings?
I think, so you're going to start hearing it like tomorrow, if not, now. I think people are going to start, because people are very trendy, and this feels like a very trendy topic. I feel like you're going to hear it tomorrow, the next day, and it's going to grow exponentially. You're going to hear a lot of people go, I know this is bold, but you may want to stay away from Jamar Chase and CeeDee Lamb this year. It's not like anybody's going to come out and say something stupid, like don't draft him. Like, of course you're going to draft him. The question becomes, how far do you kick them down the top of round 1? Like, is CeeDee Lamb or Chase going past 5? No. Or Lamb's not. Chase could go to 6 or 7, and it would be ridiculous, but it would be worth the gamble, I think, in many cases. But then again, you say to yourself, like, okay, let's just say CeeDee Lamb was at 5. I'd take him. No doubt about it. I'd take the risk on Lamb. Lamb's also like a little bit younger. He feels like if anybody's going to endure the injury risk territory, it would be Lamb. Lamb grew a half an inch after his rookie year in the NFL. He's still growing right now, legend has it. So I give CeeDee Lamb a little more pliability of avoiding injury. Jamar Chase, let's say Jamar Chase fell to 7 tomorrow. It sounds crazy, and I am also going to acknowledge that it's crazy, but when push comes to shove, am I still taking him? I don't know that I am. Why? Gibbs is there 9 times out of 10. Breece Hall's there maybe 5 times out of 10. Bijan is there maybe 1 or 2 times out of 10. And the odds of one of them being there is probably 8, 9, or 10 times out of 10. So I guess I'm going RB instead of Jamar Chase until I get to a point where there's no Jamar Chase in sight. Like, I think that I would draft one of those RBs, Gibbs, Hall, Bijan, every single time over Chase right now in the holdout situation, because holdouts are very dangerous. They are. And Jamar Chase is no, like, injury-free player. Like, he feels like he comes with a little bit of an injury risk. He does. Whether you love him or not, he's holding out right now. He's holding in, but he's holding out. And there's and then Burrow with the injuries, and it's like the team. It's not that I don't love Burrow. It's not that I don't believe in Burrow. It's not that I won't cheer Burrow and Chase on. I love them. They're one of the pancake stacks, the originating pancake stack here on the channel. Drop a pancake for Joe. Drop a cigar, whatever. We love them, but there's multiple risk factors already there, even if they showed up on time. And then you got, like, this is a team. Milton pulling it down and running. Milton scrambling like Cam Newton. I love Joe Milton. I love Joe Milton.
He can move.
So definitely, bro.
Chase Brown.
Chase Brown. All right. Anything else, bro?
Oh no, I was just about to. I'm just agreeing with CeeDee. You have to agree. You have to only worry about CeeDee, but with Jamar, you have Burrow to worry about injury too, along with Chase.
Yeah. I mean, hold on, but here's the thing though. I'm going back and forth in my own head on this. What if Lamb doesn't even play week 1? It's very unlikely that he would push it to that degree, but he's also going to get paid so much money no matter what happens. Like, think about it. If there was ever a player that was going to stand on principle for everybody else, it would be Lamb, because he's going to get $120 or $130 million guaranteed next year. He could sit out the entire season. Yeah, he could sit the entire season out and potentially still get a $130 million deal, not playing a single snap this year. So
if anyone in the league wouldn't pay him, it's Jerry Jones.
Yeah, that's the other thing. So you got Milton throwing just a free play. I really don't know how to answer this question. I wish I could. I wish I could tell you that, my experience doing this, I don't know. Lamb's in a very unique situation. And Lamb Chops also just responded with one of the most crazy responses that we've seen in a while with the LOL. Let me see if I can find that here. Here's the Jerry. So Jerry ended up saying today, I don't know if someone's eating a Jolly Rancher on the phone or something, but all we hear is I don't know what someone's doing, but so Lamb responds to Jerry, who says, I don't have any urgency to get it done, talking about the contract. And instead of being mad, instead of being quiet, Lamb's so nonchalant and like, I'm taking this the distance I could give 2 shiats. He puts LOL and even uses a period. Like, to me, if that doesn't feel like a guy that was willing to sit it out the entire season, like, how out of touch is this mother effer is what Lamb's saying with this. So I don't know, man. I don't know where this is going to go.
He's being so like nonchalant about it, which makes you think maybe he doesn't even want to really play hard. And that means less fantasy points.
I don't think Lamb doesn't know how to play anything but 100,000%. But will he not play? I don't know. All right, I appreciate you, bro. Who is this again?
All right, Alex.
All right, Alex. Appreciate you. Call in later. All right. Let's go to who's next? Mike from Buffalo, then Michael from Houston. Mike from Buffalo, go ahead. Hello.
Smitty, thanks for taking my call. I got a vent on this Jerry Jones situation that I talked to you about 2 weeks ago. Jerry Jones has totally become not just the embarrassment.
Oh, look at that touchdown. Sorry, man.
He's become he's become the Al Davis of the NFL. This is exactly how Al Davis operated the Raiders in his last 10 years of ownership.
Joe Milton.
And they couldn't remove him. They couldn't get rid of him. This unbelievable. I hope that CeeDee takes this the distance and sits out as long as he has to get paid by this guy.
Yeah, I hear you, bro. I hear you. Nate Smith, 3-month membership, MHJ or Wilson. Give me redraft. They're tied. Maybe Garrett Wilson. He looks so good in practice today. Dynasty MHJ by a mile. Yeah, hey, bro. I agree with you. This is Mike from Buffalo, right? I agree with you.
Correct.
I don't want him to hold out for fantasy purposes because this impacts a lot of people. So I understand where you're coming from, and I totally appreciate it. I'm hoping he doesn't hold out. I don't want CeeDee Lamb to hold out. But what's it going to accomplish at the end of the day? Jerry's not going to learn a lesson. Jerry's getting worse by the day. Hopefully Jerry's not. He steps away or I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen, but Jerry's absolutely off his rocker, and nobody's speaking up around him because they're afraid. They're afraid to say anything. But Jerry's absolutely losing it. I don't know if he's got any marbles upstairs at all, period. And the fact that he says one thing one moment, though, and then another the next, and then another the next, makes me feel like he's not even being true to what he's saying at all, ever. So all we need him to do is wake up on the right side of the bed once, and then a contract gets signed. That's kind of what I'm thinking ends up happening. I don't know. He said, don't you think I'm up all night trying to get a deal done? Then the next day they interview him. He goes, I don't have any urgency to get it done. Then the next day they interview him. He's like, I'm working on it right now. Next time you talk to him, he's like, we're here for the now. No, the future years are in the future years. We're not concerned about that. And that goes for everybody. That's what he said. It goes for everybody. We're all in. We're all in, is what he said. And so, I don't know. Right now, it feels like Lamb is going to hold out and not play week 1. That's how it feels. I don't know if that'll stay true. I don't know if Jerry... Look, they're also closing the practice to the fans so that they can't boo and see this team play like garbage while they're awaiting CeeDee Lamb's return. I can tell you this. If they go out there in week 1 without Lamb, they're going to look so bad. And Jerry's all in, trying to win now, is going to be wild. Mike from Buffalo just left, so I guess he's done with this topic. Let me go over to Michael from Houston. He's so mad he hung up. He's like, I'm not dealing with this. Smitty's not mad enough. Go ahead, Mike from Houston. Joe Milton. Chase Brown? Whoa, Michael. Are we heading to outer space?
Let's try. Is that better?
A little bit, yeah. What's up, man?
I was just wondering about Blake Corum, how the Kyron Williams and him tied together, how that affected it all.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's Corum is going to hold his water bottle. Corum's going to, try to hold his jock strap. Corum's going to definitely spell him when he needs to be spelled, but let's make no mistake about it. Kyron Williams is a superstar. It doesn't matter what his draft capital was, doesn't matter anything. He is a superstar. And his coach absolutely loves him. You talk to McVay about, what he had to eat, and he brings up Kyren Williams. And he says Kyren Williams is the heart and soul of the team. When Kyren's not on the field, this team is completely different, and he's 100% right. Like, you don't score 15 touchdowns in 12 games. You don't become the first running back ever since Barry Sanders. Barry Sanders is the only other running back that was in the top 3 in rushing, missing 5 games. And you can say the missing games is concerning, and I'll agree with you. And that's why we have this combo as the number 1 cuff in all of fantasy football, because Corum instantly becomes a top 10 running back if he's injected into this monster of an offense behind probably the number 1 run blocking offense in the National Football League, probably the heaviest offensive line in the National Football League. Blake Corum goes from rags to riches. And if Kyren were to suffer, but he's a cuff. You know what Kyren is in McVay's offense? The number 1 or number 2 overall running back. It's a big difference between that. Just because Corum turns into a prince when he goes into the offense doesn't mean Kyren's not the king. So if anybody thinks Corum's taking Kyren's job, no offense, but they don't know football at all. At all. Sorry if that's you.
But I'm saying, with the line being so good, though, if this is the time at all and Corum gets to show, then that flips everything.
So are what you trying to say is that the line's so good, Corum goes in and plays well, and he takes the job from Kyren, who played like a top 1 or 2
That's
running.
a possibility.
It's not a possibility. The only possibility is that Kyren gets injured and, let's say, has a high ankle sprain, comes back and is very hampered and is not the same player because of the injury, and they're in a committee to keep Kyren healthy. There's no taking the job from Kyren Williams. He is arguably the number 1 or number 2 between the tackle running back in the National Football League. And this is not me speculating. This is proven. This is the data from last year when he was running back 9, 2, 4, 3, 1, 9, 5, 1. Over and over and over. He was a top 5 running back 6 times in his 12 games. He scored 12 rushing touchdowns in 12 games. He scored 15 total touchdowns in 12 games. And he has the number 1 offensive line in the league. What do you think he's going to look like when he's on the field, bro? Again, listen to what I said, though. Kyren is a top 10 running back if he's in the lineup. Corum is a top 10 running back in the lineup. Kyren is number 1 or number 2. And look, not everybody agrees with me, and I'm not trying to belittle a take that you might have that's concerning about this, but I don't really care what other people think about Kyren. Just because other people think it and regurgitate this garbage about Corum taking Kyren's job because they have dynasty investment in this guy and they want to be right about Corum. They talk Corum up all offseason and he lands in the worst spot he could land for him to be an elite player. He's 3 months younger than Kyren. 3 months younger than Kyren. His future is not this bright future. He's sitting in front of the second or first best running back in the National Football League between the tackles. And you have a bunch of people that are probably feeding you information outside of the show they're heavily invested in the Corum project. They need this to work. And they're doubters of Kyren from the jump anyway. Because people missed out on him last year and they feel so bad about themselves and their talent evaluation process, they're going to continue to double down on some bad thinking because they missed on this. And if they're right about it, if he busts, then I wasn't wrong last year and I don't feel so bad about myself.
But what about, why draft Corum so high if you trust Williams so much?
Because everybody needs a backup running back, and he fits the scheme well enough
that
you get top 10 running back numbers out of him per start. Like, I don't know why that doesn't sound appealing to you. Why would you not want, with a guy that runs harder than anybody, concerning enough for me to even admit to you that he is a concern to miss 2 or 3 games because he runs so damn hard. He runs so damn hard. He's the best between the tackle running back in the league, in my opinion. He runs harder than anybody. If my life is on the line and I need 100 yards and a touchdown, I'm calling Kyren. I'm calling Kyren Williams because this guy matchup doesn't matter. He's running for 100 yards and a touchdown. He did it all year long. He scored 15 touchdowns in 12 games. And I know you want to keep saying this because you keep saying it. And it's okay. I'm trying to convince you as best of my ability. I can't help everybody. But you want to keep saying that, why'd they draft him then? Did Braylon Allen go to the New York Jets? Is Braylon Allen as good of a prospect as Corum? The answer is yes. If you don't think so, then I don't know what to tell you. But Braylon Allen was arguably the best running back prospect in the entire draft. He had a great profile. He fits the bill for a between the tackle running back. Are we having the same conversation about Breece Hall? Are we saying Breece Hall's job is in jeopardy? What if Braylon Allen gets in there? Is he taking Breece's job? No. So this comes down to that you don't believe in Kyren. You don't think Kyren is as big of a threat as Breece Hall is to Braylon Allen, Kyren to Corum. And that's fine. That's where that's where we're different. Huh?
I think that McVay may do a committee running back though.
What in the world would make you think that? Somebody said it. Somebody said it to you. Somebody said it to you.
No,
you heard it. You heard somebody say it, and that's why there's no evidence.
If you have Williams that missed games last year, and you drafted a running back high, there's a chance you may do a committee to try to save
McVay. They're going to look. They gave Kyren Williams 90% of the snaps. You can't do that. You're going to break your running back. If McVay loves to run the ball, he's going to invest in another running back to dial back Kyren's 90% workload. You don't want Kyren getting the ball 90% of the time. Everybody needs a backup, bro. Tyler Algier is going to run the ball 150 times, maybe 130, 140 times. Tyler Algier is running the ball 140 times. Are we worried about Bijan Robinson? No, we can't have Bijan run the ball 450 times. The Rams are going to run the ball over 500 times this year. Do you want him running the ball 500 times if you're the coach? You can't. They have no other running back, bro. This is they needed the position battered. What?
If they take away some of these carries, though, that's going to take away some of the.
I don't think you're listening. I don't think you're listening to me.
I am listening.
They run the ball 500 times. You're not taking anything away from them. You have no backup running back in St. Louis or in LA, so you need a running back. Corum could get 180 carries, and it doesn't touch Kyren's workload. They're going to run the ball 450 to 500 times. What do you want Kyren to get? 300 carries? Right?
That's a lot.
Yeah, that's a lot. Okay, do you want him to have 450? Is that what you're saying? You think that if Kyren doesn't have 450 to 500 carries, that means they don't believe in him? Because they're running the ball 450 to 500 times. What do you want them to do? They have no other running back. They said, this guy fits our system really good. We're pretty good everywhere else. Let's bring in a guy that could replicate Kyren as best as somebody could, because we like his skill set. Let's bring him in. Let's have him run the ball, spell him, keep him healthy. And part of the reason that they want Kyren to have somebody taking some of the work between the tackles is because they want to run him out in the flat. They want to run him out in the slot. They want him catching double the receptions this year. This guy might bring in 60 balls, maybe 55 receptions, which will counteract any other concerns you might have. Look, I'm gonna let you go, bro, because you clearly are heavily invested in the Corum project. I get it. I've tried to convince you. I've got everything on this screen right here that should tell you that the recipe to win your league is to just have both of them. But if you think Corum is taking Kyren's job, I've done what I could. I've yelled as loud as I can from the rooftop. What?
I never buy high. I always buy low. If somebody's too high, then no need to buy them.
Because Kyren in the second round's too high? Come on, bro. Come on. Let me just say this. He's the biggest steal in all of fantasy outside of Patrick Mahomes.
I would like to get Pacheco, I think. Pacheco kind of seems like he's set up to...
We like Pacheco. What's that have to do with it? What's that have to do with anything?
I'm saying,
Pacheco's great.
If I had to choose between Williams in the second round and Pacheco in like the third, fourth round,
you can have both. Pacheco. You can have both. Why you make... What are you bringing that into this conversation for? It's nothing to do with it. Kyren, you could have both. You could stick wide receiver in round 1. You could still go Kyren in round 2 and Pacheco in round 3. It's fine. Is nothing to the fact that you don't see Kyren as a value in round 2 when I'm telling you he's maybe running back 1 or 2 overall because he proved it is wild to me, because this is the second best, if not the first best value in all of fantasy football. Mahomes is probably the best value, period, in fantasy football. Period. Kyren is the second best value. And you're saying you don't like to buy high. And I'm trying to tell you, this has never been a more discounted player than you'll ever find. This is the most discounted running back maybe in the last 10 years in fantasy football. You're looking at a guy that finished as the number 2 overall running back per start behind Christian McCaffrey, scored 15 touchdowns in 12 games. He was the number 2 overall running back per start. And you're getting him at the 2-3 turn, and you don't like to buy high? I'm sorry, bro.
Finish him.
Where
Call
was the
terminated.
before that, though?
There's only so much I can, there's only so much I can say to somebody, and then it's just regurgitating it. Like, I presented my case. He obviously didn't want to hear any of it. I don't hate you. You can call in any time. There's no bad blood between us, but I couldn't take it anymore because you're not listening. You've got an agenda, and your agenda is to root against Kyren for whatever reason. And I tried to do what I could for you. Hopefully you rewatch the show, learn a thing or two about it, accept a thing or two about it, and understand that the best value you've ever seen in your entire life is sitting right in front of you in round 2, and you don't want to buy high? You don't want to buy Kyren Williams high? He was the second best running back in fantasy football last year. Eddie from Philly, you're live.
I was geeking about that whole little debacle, but talking about someone who is actually really high on Kyren. I gave the $20 super chat talking about the 104 pick with Christian McCaffrey, Breece Hall, Gibbs, Bijan, all being cats, Tyreek Hill. I'm kind of in that spot where I could definitely get like a Chase Jefferson at 104, but what would it be an overpay depending, because Kyron's sitting at the board on Sleeper on like the 16th overall player, but if I were to go with him at the 104, and maybe if like Debo falls to the 2-9, and maybe a Pacheco, or maybe I get an elite quarterback at the 3-4, and then obviously grab Corum in like the 9th, 10th, 11th round. How's that sound? So I'm kind of debating, like, do I want to go elite receiver and then probably get Pacheco on the 3rd?
Bro, this is you're trying to plan out your entire life in this phone call. The honest answer is you have to be on the clock for a lot of this to really pull the trigger. I can give you some generalizations. I would say Debo's a smash in round 3. Absolute smash in round 3 in this format. Kyren is a smash at the 12-13 turn. So if he's there, he's a home run. You already have Achane and Kyren. You get a Tank Dell, or especially a Debo and a Tank Dell, a Debo and a Devontae Smith, a Debo and something. You are absolutely hitting home runs from the jump. Debo, the best thing I can tell you, and I'm not trying to evade your question. You're super chatter. You dropped $20. I'm trying to help you, but I think this helps you. I think this is what you need to hear. If you're taking the best player available when you're on the clock, there's no need for any planning. You're trying to plan this out, map it out. What if I go this? What if I get this player here? You need to, on the clock, ask yourself, who hits the biggest home run that has the safest floor combination at this selection, and worry about round 4 and round 4. Worry about round 5 and round 5. And best player available accounts for what you have. If you've already got a quarterback, you're clearly not just taking another quarterback. If you have no wide receivers already and you're on the clock and things are really close, your best player available will be changed by that information. You have to take in the board. You have to take in your situation. It all accounts for best player available. But if I tell you Debo is a top 12 to 13 to 14 overall turn player value-wise, then you know you're smashing the hell out of your 3rd round pick if he's your guy. No doubt about it. I think the best thing that I could help you with is you give me a list of 6 or 7 guys and I rank them in my favorite order, because I can't tell you 5 degrees of separation away from this scenario, what I would do in the 3rd or 4th round, because I don't know what you did in the 2nd round, et cetera, et cetera. So why don't you give me 6, 7 guys, 8 guys, let's rank them and go from there. But you get Debo as your 3rd drafted player after Kyren Smash. But there's not a player I can think of, unless I'm keeping MHJ for the long term or something, that I would like better than Kyren when you listed all those players being off the board. Kyren to me is a top 5 overall player, as you just heard me preach. So you get him as your 2nd drafted player and you've got Achane kept, you're already so far ahead of everybody else. If you get yourself a Mahomes, guess what you have, young man? You've got yourself the tripod.
The tripod, likened to pyramids in ancient Egypt, consists of drafting one of Allen, Mahomes, or Hurts to go with one of these round 1 running backs and one of these running backs in round 2. The tripod.
Now, while you would have the tripod in the sense that you'd have 2 of the round 3 running backs, but Kyren is a round 1 or 2 running back to me. So total smash. Give me some players. Let's rank them and go from there. I think it's the best way I can help you, because you're asking for a blueprint that has 8 forks in the road. You know, it's kind of like someone calling in and going, hey, I want to fill up my NCAA bracket, but if I have Indianapolis winning against Clemson in this round, then I go, and it's like we're going down this tree that has 1,000 different variants. You know what I mean? So hit me with some players. Let's go.
Yeah, definitely. So first round, like, I would love to have Brees Hall at the 104. There's a chance that he's kept in the 4th round by the guy at the 106. Guys that I see with the risk, obviously Jefferson, Chase would, depending on Burrow's health, but they could definitely boom. Amon-Ra St. Brown, discussions that he might be off the board at 102.
So just give me a list. Give me a list of guys in round. Let's do this round by round. Let's simplify this. Round 1, give me a list of guys you think are going to be on the board for you, and then I'll rank them, and then we'll go to round 2 real quick, and then we'll go to round 3, and then we'll be done. So go.
Okay. So I think like CeeDee Lamb, Jamar Chase, Amon-Ra St. Brown, and then Brees Hall, if he's on the board, he's my number 1 guy. And then if I were to really reach, which, with all those running backs off the board, I could go Kyren as kind of like a last resort and pair him with Achane, who I'm keeping in the 11th round.
Okay.
So I get Achane at a value.
Okay, so my ranking here, you have Achane kept. I'm going to rank probably, and this is a keeper league of what magnitude? How many are we keeping, and how are we keeping them?
Yeah, so it's you keep one guy, 12-man, half PPR redraft.
How many years?
This will be the first year doing keeper. It's like the 3rd year in the league.
No, how many years are you keeping the players?
Oh, I believe possibly 2 or 3. We haven't decided.
Okay, that's ridiculous that you guys are you're gonna. I don't know, that is ridiculous that isn't ironed out yet. You're making keeper decisions. Achane's your keeper already, unless you haven't turned it in yet, and it's gonna all be decided before. But you guys got to get on. Your commissioners got to get this stuff ironed out before you start making decisions. Now I would say that Lamb's probably your 1. I would say, you could have Hall as your 1. That's fine too. I would say Hall and Lamb. You could even, with the holdout concerns, you could even say this is a tie for 1. Lamb and Hall. I think Jamar Chase, Kyren, and St. Brown all have very similar values, to be honest with you. I think keeping the wide receiver, given you have a running back, because balance is nice, is probably the best way to go. So would I say Chase is the 2 and St. Brown is the 3? I'm fine with that. This coming from a guy that has Kyren in his top 5, I'm still trying to milk the value as best I can. Is there a chance he even falls to your next pick? How close are your 2 picks? Do you know?
Like my 2nd round pick?
Yeah. Is there a world where you can get Chase and then Kyren still falls, or is your pick so far away from your first pick we're talking about here?
Yeah, so I have the 104 and then I have the 209 in a 12-manner.
It's possible, but anyway, I would say that this is a safe ranking. Lamb and Hall tied, Jamar Chase, St. Brown 2 and 3, and Kyren 4. But I am not scared at all to make Kyren the pick here, though. I'm just telling you. Like, I love this. If I think I'm getting Tank Dell and also a Debo later, then this is a really good strategy. But I'm probably going to go Lamb and Hall, Chase, St. Brown, Kyren in general. All right, hit me with the second round players that we're talking about. Debo, you said, is potentially going to be there. If Kyren's there, let me put Kyren on the board anyway. I'm going to put Kyren as 1 just in case he fell. I'm going to put Debo as 2. Give me the other players that might be there. Let me rank them for you real quickly, and then we'll move on.
So it'll be like ETN, possibly, Chris Olave, Aiyuk, and then you get into the talk of like Kelsey, Mike Evans will probably be there. So kind of like that tier, guys.
Okay. So I'd say that it gets kind of cloudy with is McBride and Kincaid gone? They kept?
So McBride is possibly going to get kept. Kincaid is not being kept. And then Laporta is being kept in like the 12th round.
Okay, so Kincaid's over Kelsey, just so you know. Okay, so Kyren 1, Debo 2. Kyren by far and away 1 because I'd almost take him over all those other players in that previous round. Debo, I'm probably going to say give me Olave at 3. I think ETN and Aiyuk are kind of tied together at 4. I'd be very interested in making McBride and Kincaid kind of tied for 4 as well. I think there's a real argument to be made over Olave, Aiyuk, and ETN if you wanted to. Is this premium? I forget if this is tight end premium. It can't be.
No.
Okay. If you find out it is, you got to move these guys to the Debo level. I think it's so really it's a big grab bag here between ETN, Olave, Aiyuk, McBride, Kincaid. I think that Debo and Kyren stick out like a sore thumb. And it's a limited keeper league, so Debo's age doesn't worry me because I think he's got 2 years left. So I'm fine with this, but Kyren by far and away. That's basically the best I can do for you, bro, because you got so many avenues you could take this. There's no way to give you some sort of blueprint.
Yeah, definitely. No, I definitely appreciate what you gave. We officially decide our keepers tomorrow at 8 p.m. So,
all right.
If anything changes, like Greece is there,
All right.
I'll be
Eddie, appreciate your super chat. Appreciate you calling anytime, all right? Later, bro.
Yep, later.
Travis Rowe, final thoughts.
I was just wondering, now that Josh Downs is hurt, how much of a bump does A.D. Mitchell get from it? And, like, how do you compare him to, like, Brian Thomas Jr. or Ricky Pearsall? Like, if you had to rank them, like, forget about ADP just as players, what they can produce.
Is this a replay of Joe Milton? Yeah, it's a replay, right? Yeah, okay. Let's talk about Joe Milton next. But A.D. Mitchell, I'd say Downs being hurt, it's a concern because these ankle sprains can be bad. They can linger. Being ruled out as long as he is right from the jump, and then the obscurity of when he'll be ready to go is tough to know. It's a high ankle, right? So
I think so.
Yeah, I don't.
I was more asking what does it do for A.D. Mitchell?
Yeah, so A.D. Mitchell, I feel like A.D. Mitchell is going to get fast-tracked a lot quicker than he would have. I think he would have maybe been kind of in and out, but now he's going to be leaned upon. When players, and especially rookies, young players are leaned upon, they make mistakes, but they grow really quick. It's kind of like, think about yourself when you go into it's been so long for me to think like this, but I do remember, like, as a kid even, when you go into a job for the first time and you feel so overwhelmed. You're like, oh my God, like, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't think I'm ever going to learn this. This is wild. But you get thrown to the wolves, and by the end of 1 month, usually you've got a handle on everything. Maybe you can get better, but it takes a month. I look at that as kind of like, if you were to slow roll someone into a position even more than throwing them to the wolves, it'd take them 6 months, to learn. A.D. Mitchell is in the situation where his month will be like, he'll learn everything within the first month. He'll be an absolute veteran in a sense compared to where he'd be if he wasn't shoved out there. That's if Downs misses time during the year. He might not, but it's not a good injury. He's certainly going to get ahead of where he needs to be or ahead of where he would have been had Downs not got hurt. So right now he's absorbing everything. So I think if he plays like a good month with Downs being hampered, it's going to be crazy how good A.D. Mitchell could be as a rookie. If A.D. Mitchell and if Downs returns to the lineup and is just barely hampered and he's kind of back, I still think he learned so much more than he would have. So I would say A.D. Mitchell becomes a very good wide receiver 4 and probably, I would say, like has the potential at some point this year to play like a really solid low-end wide receiver 3, meaning you're starting him in some bigger leagues at wide receiver 3, potentially.
Right. Yep.
Now, will he take over Pittman's job? I don't know. I don't think it would be this year. I think what we would
Probably
see is
not.
flashes of what maybe, like, we walk into 2025 where people are making bold statements about A.D. Mitchell being the number 1. I think that's what we're left with at the aftermath of the 2023-2024 season. We'll be bold predicting A.D. Mitchell to take over in 2025. And I know people won't like that because they love Pittman, but I'm not saying he'll take over this year. I'm just saying we'll have such a good flash of what he's capable of. He's also got some risk. So, but man, let's talk about Joe Milton real quick. As a Patriots fan, I mean, I've been saying this for a while, and I always preface it with a little bit of humor and just say, if it was me, I would start Joe Milton in week 1, and you would call me an absolute maverick. You'd say this coach, GM, whatever role I have, you would say this guy's an idiot. This guy's a loose cannon imbecile. But I would start Joe Milton, and I'd see what I have. And if he doesn't come off the field, you have yourself a nice little Drew Brees, Phillip Rivers dilemma where you get to trade away Drake May to anywhere you want to trade him and get the world. You would have the ability to do whatever you want. I'm not saying that Drake May isn't good. I'm not saying Drake May will fail. I'm not saying Joe Milton will be better. But what do you have to lose? You're already not starting Drake May in week number 1. And if you are so scared that Joe Milton's going to get in May's head and it's not good for May, then May's not the answer anyway. If he gets shaken by Joe Milton going out there at all, and it doesn't matter because if Joe Milton fails, then there's nothing in Drake May's head. And if Drake May's in his own head, Joe Milton's doing so good, Drake May's not touching the field anyway. So I just don't understand why this gets laughed at so much. I would start Joe Milton. I would start him. We saw Brock Purdy be the guy, and no one had the balls until the moment to make that move. Why not try it? Why not try it when Joe Milton looks like the guy? And I know we're in the preseason. I know it's practice. I get all that. But if he fails, then that's fine.
He does it for another 2 weeks,
Yeah, he's got time.
He looks good for another 2 weeks, and I mean, like you said, they're not going to do it. Probably not. Brissett will start. But I just hope, for the sake of just annoyances, that the Zappy people realize he's gone from the Patriots. There's still people in New England that think Zappy can, start and be, a legitimate starter in the NFL.
Yeah.
And he can't. I mean, he could be a good backup somewhere maybe someday or something, but, to me, it's been obvious since they drafted him, but, Brissett for as long as you need him, and then May or Milton. And that's it.
Yeah, we got to talk about this, guys, because this is, and again, this is preseason. So I want to make sure everybody understands that for good and bad, you can't take everything as if it's, gospel. But this is what people need to, this is why you need to curb your expectations on neighbors. Because when the Giants go to actually put pads on and play actual football, there are some concerns. There are some, hey, what's this offense going to look like? Now, I understand that everybody wants to know especially when someone breaks off a long touchdown run like I just saw here on the Giants highlight, and everybody's looking at this thing going, oh, the Detroit Lions just got run on. Maybe the Giants are going to move the ball. When the starters are on the field, the Giants are going to have more moments like this where Neighbors has 0 targets per 12 snaps than he has 9 targets on 9 snaps. I think people came into this game on such a hype train from Neighbors in practice, in shorts, not getting hit, Denny Dimes not getting sacked, not getting leveled, players running past him instead of sacking him because those are the rules in practice and in scrimmage. You're not tackling him. And Dimes gets all the time in the world to throw a pass to a Neighbors while defenses are testing out different personnel and trying to take gambles and try out essentially different pieces of their team. Neighbors goes out 12 snaps, 0 targets, as NFL and CBS reports here. Neighbors' preseason debut did not go as planned. Not saying he'll bust, not saying to stay away from him, not saying anything can be drawn in conclusion in a preseason game or practice. And this goes for Joe Milton too. You got to pump the brakes on all sides of things. But what I always tell people is when your preseason situation or the combine results or whatever ends up supporting what you already think, I think it's a little safer to take on information and use it and apply it when you already thought that thing was already happening. So I think that had Neighbors gone out and had 12 snaps and 9 targets, then you'd be able to say, hey, I was already thinking this and now I'm seeing this. And preseason's dangerous because that might not even be accurate to the season. But when you go out there and you see the complete opposite of what you've seen, it's a harsh reminder that Neighbors at 25 overall, 23 overall, your second drafted player is playing with fire when he's trapped and handcuffed in a horrible situation that you don't know what it's going to look like. Danny Dimes is awful. He's awful. And I think people are going to be wildly disappointed. I got to answer some of these super chats real quickly. They're piling up. I'm sorry, guys. I haven't gotten to these yet. I got to get back in the mode of handling them as soon as they come in. I very, very much apologize. Young, appreciate you. D-Bone, Golf, I'm dropping all these on the screen real quick. Travis, hang tight real quickly. Or actually, you can answer it real quickly.
Okay, what was it?
The Neighbors thing, like what you're thinking with the Neighbors getting 0 targets.
Just basically what you said is like, you got to take the preseason and everything with a grain of salt because, like you said, once you put pads on and then on top of it, they're not even playing first stringers. And last year, a good example was there were times when Kenny Pickett looked like he would be a good starter. And you saw what happened once the real season came around.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not saying that to beat up on Kenny Pickett or anything, but he's like a prime example of the guy.
I remember when that caller called in.
It could go the other way too.
Yeah, it could. But I remember when that caller called in, and I forget what he was mad about, but he's like, "You said Kenny Pickett was going to be amazing," and I was like, every once in a while, people call in and they make false claims about my predictions, and it's like, bro,
still waiting for him to show us them.
Like, bro, I'm the biggest Kenny Pickett hater you'll ever find. Like, I don't know where you got that. You got the wrong guy, pal. But this guy called in. He's like, you liked Kenny Pickett. And I'm just like, whoa, wait, stop. First of all, you've got the wrong guy. I've never said a nice thing about Kenny Pickett in my life. And then I remembered, wait a minute. There was that one time where he was going through the dummy drills or whatever, and those bars with the pads on it, the tackle dummy. And he was going through that, and he looked like he was really giving it his all. And I said, man, he's really putting in the work. He's really coming in. Pickett's trying to come in and really show up. You know, I was just, I'm just giving him props for coming in. I think that was the only thing I ever said positive about him. But that was wild. But yeah, I think, I said that because you mentioned Kenny Pickett's name. There are a lot of people, that I think are overvaluing Neighbors. I hope this puts some of that, at bay and people are careful.
Yeah.
He's a great mid-third drafted player. I continue to take him in the mid-third to late third, and especially as my fourth drafted player, 4.1, 4.2, anywhere in the fourth round will be an absolute steal. Right. Problem is his camp has been so remarkable that he's climbed back up to the 25 area, 24-25 turn area. And that's just dangerous. It's dangerous. All right, hang tight real quick. Superfish is Chase Brown. $2.
I got to run after.
All right.
I'll watch the rest out. Thanks.
All right, later. Nate, stay muted real quick. I got to get through these super chats. I'll come right for you, Nate. Justin says, $5 holler. I'm a Pats fan. In college, the story was Milton always looked great in practice, but he struggled to put together in live play. I mean, there's a lot of film you can watch where he looks really good, Justin. So I disagree. He wouldn't have gotten drafted and, been a pro if he didn't put it together on film. I think there are some people that say he's going to get gobbled up in the NFL, but I just don't agree. I don't think he's for sure, but I think he needs to be tested, and I think his film looks really good. Go back and watch his film. I don't care what people say. I care about what my eyes tell me. Justin, appreciate you. I hope Alex Van Pelt can help Milton put it together, says Justin. I agree with you, Justin, 100%. Terry says, what is Terry saying here? Smitty, Jesse missed Super Chat, man. I don't know that I have missed it. I think it's just on this list somewhere. Yeah, it's right here. I got it. Thank you, Terry, looking out for the crowd. Thank you, Terry. Appreciate you. And let's go right over to his Super Chat so he can get immediate help here. I have pick 4 in a redraft, starting to second guess taking Chase, Jefferson, and lean more toward Brees and Bijan. Thoughts? At this point, I don't disagree with you. And every day Lamb holds out, he does add injury risk to his situation. I think less than Jamar. I think less than another player would be, but I still think he is adding injury risk. So I'm a Bijan 1.1 guy in a lot of cases. So I, Smitty, approve your thinking. Shout out to Smitty. We evolve through Fantasy Football Show hashtag. Appreciate you, Justin, dropping fire tonight. That's 3 super chats that I think you might have dropped more than 3. Appreciate you for doing that. Riley VIP says $5 holler. Pick 9 of 10. So you're picking 9 out of 10, almost the back-to-backs. Hoping for Gibbs, Barkley, or Gibbs Wilson. Who would you grab at the 3-4 turn? Debo and who? I love Debo. I love, obviously, Kyron Achane. I like Kyron and Achane over Debo. I like Kyron and Achane almost as much as Gibbs. And I would honestly grab Gibbs and Kyron Williams at the turn. I wouldn't be afraid to do that at all. Or Achane. I would probably draft Gibbs and Kyron. It's a 10-man league. You're going to get wide receivers to fall. I'm a very big proponent of running back. I'm a big proponent of best player available, but a big proponent of running back in a 10-man league where you're almost guaranteed a Debo, a DK, or a Tank Dell, and another one of those types of players as your wide receiver 2 and 3. Or I'm sorry, your wide receiver 1 and 2. So personally, and I don't mind balance. If you want to go Garrett Wilson, look, Garrett Wilson looks like fire right now. There's no problem going Garrett Wilson. I'm just telling you. In the 3-4 turn or wherever, I mean, quarterback. You get one of Hurts, Mahomes, Allen. Even consider AR5 potentially in a 10-man league. Having that top 5 quarterback is a difference maker because everybody's teams are loaded in a 10-man league. Who has the 40-plus touchdown quarterback might be the decision maker in your league. Are you still willing to draft Lamb or wait and see? Golf probably heard my response by now on that one, but I'm certainly still willing to draft Lamb more so than Jamar Chase, but I'm getting to the point where every day I'm a little bit more worried. And 5 days goes by, I might be saying he's now below Bijan for sure. Right now, I feel like I lean Bijan, but I'm still very much leaning Lamb. But I certainly think 5-6 days from now, it's going to be a different story. Hendon Hooker is looking solid. He always has been a great prospect. We've always liked Hendon Hooker on this channel. And I think this is great news for Detroit Lion fans to know that they've got a potential kind of Jordan Love maybe-esque situation on the bench brewing. He was a good prospect. I'm not saying he's Jordan Love, but if anybody gets to say that he has potential to be, it's me. So I will say there's some upside there. Rockout says, check your DMs. Thank you, Rockout. Appreciate you. Young says, Milton 3 is the guy in New England. Trust, says Young. At least you got May and you've got Milton. You're probably good to go. Like one of these guys is gonna be the guy. Hey, Smitty, love the show. 12-team full PPR redraft at the 5 spot. Bijan or St. Brown. I'm going to go Bijan. Probably 8 times out of 10. If I had a lot of leagues lined up side by side, I would mix it up. I would be going some Gibbs. I'd be going some Breece Hall. I'd be going some Bijan. I'd be going some St. Brown, obviously. So I love that. And some A.J. Brown even at that territory. But very much a Bijan guy when push comes to shove, my main man. Appreciate you. And Ill Phil with a $2 hauler. Ill says, Smitty, the data. Wrong.
Muy mal.
Appreciate you, Ill Phil, for dropping the super. Look at Jaden Daniels just throwing the football in this halftime show little thing that they've got going on. Jaden Daniels is going to surprise everybody. He's going to be such a monster. I love Jaden Daniels. There's no show. There's no show higher on Jaden Daniels than this show. I know I say this a lot about a lot of players, but I know what I'm talking about. I know that no one is higher on Jaden Daniels. No one's higher on Keon Coleman. No one's higher on Jaden Daniels. No one's higher on Kyron. No one's higher on Achane. And if you think you are, you're wrong. You're wrong, because you're not.
Wrong. Muy mal. Get lambed.
Man, this is a good run by number 20, Giants number 20, Gray. Good run. Another thing is that Volunteers offense is really gimmicky, and they don't really give wide receivers and QBs much help to translate to the NFL. Jalen Hyatt and Cedric Tillman had a really tough time, says Justin. Yeah, at the same time, though, the way I look at this is like, it's hard to like bring every scenario over and tie it to the same scenario. Like Ohio State QBs never do this or never do that. I'm never a big believer. I'm a believer in case by case. And when I watch Joe Milton footage, I mean, there's a reason you've heard me say this before any of the hype had arrived. Like when Joe Milton was drafted, I flipped out on the Raiders. I flipped out on the Giants. I flipped out on every team that didn't take Joe Milton and Rattler. And I said, miss. Big L. Big L. You should have taken a gamble, Raiders, on Joe Milton. I said it at the draft, on draft day, when Joe Milton didn't get drafted by the Raiders. I kept saying, when are they going to take a stab at Joe Milton? So I've liked Joe Milton before any of the hype has come. So my eyeballs he's passed the eyeball test. And that's through film, because there was nothing to go on before he was drafted, right? You had Combine, and that helped, and certainly kind of stamped approval of, hey, I like this kid a lot. But I'm telling you, or workouts, I'm telling you that my Joe Milton belief, and I'm not saying he's a lock, it doesn't come from this game. It doesn't come from the recent hype. It comes from something deeper and deeper into the offseason. So I understand what you're saying, and thank you for the $10 hauler.
To the moon.
But you're not going to convince me that Joe Milton doesn't have the upside. And I know you're wanting to probably believe in him. I'm just saying, don't worry about the past. Let's hope that he does get a shot, and maybe a team trades for him. I don't know. It's frustrating that a team like the Patriots may say, no, we're going to hang on to him. We like him. Well, if you like him, play him. If you're not going to play him, then trade him to get a piece that can help Drake May succeed quicker. That would be my thinking. And I don't know that teams are bold enough or strong enough to go get a Joe Milton or have the guts to do it, because nobody had the guts to go get Justin Fields. And it's very, very embarrassing to look at 30 teams in the NFL, the Bears being one of them, that didn't understand the value of Justin Fields, especially at the cost of entry. There's only one team, the Pittsburgh Steelers, that were smart enough to bring in Justin Fields to try out the experiment at a zero-cost situation. And they're the ones that are going to be the benefactors. And we knew it, and we saw it from a mile away. I would say my belief in Fields being the guy in Pittsburgh, and my absolute dedication to that narrative the moment he joined the Steelers, is something to look at in terms of the Joe Milton thing. That there's something there that I see. I can't guarantee that the Patriots will get the best out of Joe Milton and not screw it up. If you don't play the guy, he could definitely lose his edge. So I can't guarantee Joe Milton will be anything in this league. I think he's set up right now to maybe be special. Smitty, who do you value higher, Rico or Wicks? Wicks. I like Rico's decent, but he's proven nothing. He's got like 300 yards to his name. So I'm going to say Wicks is a guy I'd rather have. Great question. Appreciate you. I've smashed all the super chats. They're all wiped out. I apologize for anybody waiting on a super chat. I promise you I'm going to work on answering them immediately when I get them so that you feel confident that, hey, if I drop a super chat right now, Smitty's taking care of me right now. So I promise you that's on my mind. I'm trying to work on that as we get in the groove with the games going on, the phone calls and all that. I will work on it. I will get better. I will do better. Gifted memberships tonight. Let me see if we had let's see here. Just want to say thanks to the one who gifted my YouTube membership. This is Michael. I don't know who did it, but yeah, thank you for doing it, guys. Appreciate you. Those are always very, very helpful. Anybody else have a question real quick before we end the show tonight? I probably will be back tonight to discuss maybe the entirety of the preseason night, maybe a little recap show. The phone line's right here. I'll take one more caller after I go to Nate from Chicago. Nate, you're live.
Yo, what up? I was just now going to say what you said earlier. I don't know how teams let Joe Milton, like the Giants and Raiders, like they didn't even take a chance on drafting him. Doesn't really make sense.
Doesn't make any sense, yeah. It's crazy.
Yeah, but that's all I wanted to say.
Especially when like you need a quarterback, like the Raiders. Everybody's talking about Pierce. He's such a good, players coach, and I wanted to believe that, and I'm not saying that it's out of the question. Young dropping 5 gifted memberships
to the moon.
Young, appreciate you dropping 5 wad. Thank Young if you got one. Garrett, Pine Sol. Hey Pine Sol, I thought you were leaving. Pine Sol got a gifted membership. Pine Sol, yesterday you said you're going to go watch an adult show, and you weren't coming back, and you just got gifted a membership, which means you're in here. LMAO got one. Lights Out got one. Dan L got one. Dan L became a Dan W tonight. But yeah, Joe Milton, Antonio Pierce. Oh, great coach, and I want to believe in him. I really do. But when you diarrhea the bed as bad as Pierce did by not trading up for Penix Jr., not trading up for Bo Nix, making those mistakes and not drafting Joe Milton when he was available multiple times, not drafting Rattler when he was there and available, easily had, this makes me question the competency of this man as the head coach and future of the Raiders. I'm sorry. It doesn't mean he can't overcome it. You what?
No, I was going to say the Raiders and Giants, I think they're going to easily have, two of the worst offenses in the league, for sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Even like the Seahawks, I don't know, the Seahawks should have taken a chance on Milton, but to the 6th round is crazy to me, so.
Yeah. All right, bro, appreciate you.
All right.
Later. Mr. Unlimited. Chase Brown! Chase Brown! All right, ladies and gentlemen, I am out of here for tonight. That is a 2-hour and 16-minute show in the books. We've gone longer before, but with the games on and everything, I think we can depart and come back and reconvene after the games. A lot to go over, a lot to look at. Most of it, we could actually go over now, but I want to go over it in maybe a separate show potentially tonight. We may additionally draft on Underdog Fantasy promo code Smitty. If you want to draft with us tonight, please hit this link ahead of time, sign up ahead of time, and then all you do is you come in and you're going to smash this. If you smash this link, download the app. I'm going to pin the link in the live chat. If you hit this link right now and download the app using the link, which inserts code Smitty, not only do you get 50% match on your first deposit up to $250, you will get a special pick in your account as well. And on top of that, you'll be ready tonight when I say open up the app, swipe over to the weekly winner is probably what we'll do. Or no, maybe we'll do a Superflex tonight. Swipe over to the $5 or $4 or whatever it is, $5 or $4 Superflex, and jump in and then hit the green button now. You'll be able to do that because you click the link, downloaded the app, and have it ready to go. So please click the link. Here's the link one more time. Sign up in advance. Be ready. It's a $10 minimum deposit. They'll give you 50% match on your first deposit. So you do the 10 minimum, they give you 5. You're doing 3 Superflex drafts with that. So all you did was do $10. They give you 3. You get a $5 match, and then you'll have 3 drafts that you can do. 210 caller, you're live. What is your name and where are you calling from?
Joe Cook.
Okay, Joe, where are you calling?
San Antonio, Texas.
Joe from Texas. What can I do for you, pal?
If you had the #1 overall draft pick,
who would it be? Bijan or Tyreek Hill?
I like both of them, and if I had 2 leagues right now side by side, I'm going 1 Hill, 1 Bijan. If I only have one, push comes to shove, I guess I'd ask you a qualifying question, because best player available drives me, and sometimes best player available changes based on the board, right? The chessboard. So is this a wide receiver hungry league? Is it a 10-man league? Is it a
10-man PPR?
Tight end premium? I doubt it. If it's 10-man.
No, sir.
Okay, no Superflex, I doubt it. Okay, so I would say I'm taking Bijan. I'm taking Bijan because the wide receivers in a 10-man league are loaded. And you might very well grab yourself at a bare minimum at the turn picks in the second and third round. You might get a Debo and a Kyren, a Debo and an Achane, a Debo and a Josh Allen, a Debo and a Mahomes. You exit your draft with Bijan, Mahomes, and Debo. I don't think you can start any better than that. And I would just say that your guarantee of running back at 20 and having Tyreek Hill and whatever running back you may or may not get scares me more than drafting Bijan and having Debo or a player that you like as much as Debo, because I think that's a fantastic start. But you can't go wrong. That's hence why I'd split it if I had side-by-side leagues. Because if you do get, let's say, lucky and Kyren and Achane fell, and Kyren's going in the top 12, 13, 14, 15 in non-best ball, so I don't know that you're going to see it, but sometimes you do. If you were to get Hill, Kyren, and Achane, I don't know that you could start better than that. But in a non-best ball, I figure Kyren's going in the top 14. I think people they know more of what's going. It's weird because that's more knowledgeable. The best ball world has all of these statistician type people that are trying to use data and algorithms to win $1.5 million in prizes, and yet they're the ones ignoring the more smart approach of running back. It's wild to me, and it's a problem that's getting created. That's getting the problems being piled on top of, it's just getting bigger and growing because everybody's freaking out that everybody's doing it. And so now if wide receivers getting consumed too much, now everybody's doing it because everyone else is doing it, and that's a problem. That's where you start borrowing wide receivers from round 3. And where it's becoming an advantage, you'd have somebody come in here and go, Smitty, but the data, last year's data. The problem that you're going to see, the thing that makes this a beautiful story to tell in 2025 when we're talking about last year's data, which will be this year, the 2024 season, is that everybody borrowed too many wide receivers. And guess what you did? You ended up getting a better combination of third and fourth round players than you ever should have got, and you still drafted the better upside players in rounds 1 and 2. So it's going to have an extreme effect where everybody's going too ham on this wide receiver. And in best ball, the typical badge person that has the red badge, they have the highest badge level, whatever, and I have that too. But when you have, when those badge drafters go traditionally wide receiver, and you're seeing it a lot, they're so knee deep in the weeds of the data from last year. I think they're going to live to regret it.
I agree.
I guess why I'm telling you this is I think that you're going to find that in your draft, it's not going to happen. It's a non-best ball. The wide receivers should be plentiful. It's a 10-man non-best ball. You're going to be able to get Debo. You're going to be able to get DK. You're going to be able to get
DK this year.
Yeah, you're going to be able to get 2 wide receiver ones still at your back-to-backs easily. And I don't even know if I draft it. I might not even draft wide receiver with your first 3 picks. I'd take Bijan, Kyren, and Achane, or Bijan, Achane, and Mahomes. Bijan, Kyren, and Mahomes.
Mahomes is he's on the he's that's who I want.
Yeah.
Bijan, I've been flirting with it. Mahomes is yes. It's just that I don't know what other person, but you made a point, with Achane or Debo.
I'm going Achane because of I know I can get elite wide receivers in a 10-man. So Go tripod, bro. Tripod all the way. If best player available looks and allows it, okay? Always adjust and adapt. All right, appreciate you, bro.
I got you. Appreciate it. Thank you.
All right, later. All right, we got several more super chats that came in the building here. One by Saya, two by Justin, who's dropping wads tonight. Hey, Smitty, Superflex, PPR, Dynasty, Pickens, or Jaden Reed, Pickens. And this is with the risk that Aiyuk could still go to Pittsburgh. I still like Pickens. Maybe they drop to a closer territory if Aiyuk does land there, but he's still going to be worth, I think, at least what Jaden Reed is. Think about Jaden Reed's in an even more crowded situation. So I'd say Pickens, but it could get a little bit dicier for you. Justin with a $5. I'm protective of my Milton. Okay. Love May, Polk, Baker, our new guys. Love Goat, Belichick, but Wolf had a great offseason fixing Bill Belichick's mess, says Justin. And I agree. Bill kind of dropped off, and as much as this is why I think Harbaugh, people think about Harbaugh, how people were just clinging to Bill. Like, Bill's got to be still good. He's going to do it. He's going to do it. And I'm not saying Harbaugh's going to fail, but Harbaugh doesn't look like he's on a path to success. I'll tell you that. Justin, appreciate the $5 here. I think if New England let Milton be the backup and learn NFL football, he can be Jordan Love if May doesn't work out. I agree with that, and I think that probably will be the case. I just think you start him, though. Again, and people will call me crazy, but I don't give a crap. You might hurt him tossing him out there in week 1. I'd rather know what I have, because if it's something like, think about it, you have nothing to lose. If it's something special, then you can trade Drake May for the world, and you have a Rivers and Breeze situation, which happened. And if you don't have the world, then at least you're not wondering. The biggest problem you're going to have, let me tell you, Justin, why you don't want to start Drake May over Milton. If you send May out there and he struggles, the whole fan base, the whole world's going to be clamoring and calling for Joe Milton. Because look who looked great without looking bad. Who never faltered or fell. Who vaulted up and never fell down. You're going to have Drake May in his own head if he struggles, and Milton, who played well, sitting behind him. You want to get all the rounds out of this barrel, okay, before you send May out onto the field, and you're worried about what's behind you. This guy, Milton, is on fire right now. And if you don't ride it out, Drake May's going to be looking over his shoulder, and when he plays bad, you'll hear Milton chants, and that's not good for Drake May. You're doing Drake May a service by starting Joe Milton in week 1. People won't like it. People are going to call me crazy. Not the first time, nor do I care. You know? I just have the balls to say it. I appreciate you, Justin. I'll see you all later. Tonight, we'll be back.
He's Kyron. He's 7 feet tall. And he knows how to handle a ball. He's Kyron. He can take frowns and turn them upside down with his touchdowns.
Hey, Chan. Hey, Chan is the man. His haters call him small,
but he is 9 feet tall.
Chan is the man.
Hi. What would you like? Footballs, please. Lots of footballs, please.
Coming up.
He's Marvin, he's 11 feet tall, and he loves to consume the football. He's Kyler, he's 4 feet tall, but starving Marvin will answer the call.
Once upon a time, Trey McBride saw two quarterbacks cross streams.
There are 2 5s?
They're gonna cross streams.
He worked effortlessly trying to accomplish this feat on his own. Then, one day, he crossed his 4th and 5th round average draft position. And then, this occurred. Get McBride. Breece Hall is 8 foot tall. He will always answer the mother freaking call. Don't let him fall. In the 3rd, don't stall. Just give Batman the freaking football.
He's Breece. He's Breece.
He does a hell of a job. A hell of a job. A hell of a job.
Breece Hall, please report to the moon.
He does a hell of a job.
He does. He does a great job. Justin with another super chat. Justin says this right here. You make a lot of great points, bud. Glad you see what a lot of NFL casuals don't when it comes to what we're turning over on the roster. Appreciate you, Justin, for dropping another super chat. Justin to the mother freaking moon tonight. And real quickly, got a lot of you still in the building. A lot of you know not to leave because there's always a encore here. 268 YouTube people in the building. 400 people from X. Please subscribe. If you're on X, subscribe to the YouTube channel because not every show is... We've been doing it lately because of the breaking news, but not every show is going to be on X. So appreciate that super chat. Just so you know, in-season feature, we do the Spacemen, the Marsmen, the Saturnmen. In-season is Wild Wild West. Everything about the in-season will be Wild Wild West. And the 10 most wanted players is essentially the in-season Moon Man, if you will, right? It's going to be who are we riding into the weeks 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So coming out of week 1, we'll start to populate, or heading into week 1, we'll start to populate the top 10 most wanted outlaws in the Wild Wild West. And the number 1 guy sitting in pole position, as Tomlin likes to say over in Pittsburgh, where Fields is sitting in pole position. The number 1 outlaw that everybody needs on their roster is this man right here. And his name is Keon Mother freaking Coleman. I give you the in-season top 10 most wanted outlaws.
The top most wanted outlaws. Wanted.
These outlaws are on the run. Wanted.
And we found our first outlaw. Hurry, hurry! You're on camera. Here, go. Here. I'll see you all later. Appreciate every single one of you. Doses. See you tonight. Oh, rock out. Rock out. Good thing you guys didn't leave. 400 on X. Rock out's dropping a message. Here's Rock Out. Let's mute everything. I give you Rock Out's message of the day.
We're not gonna take it no more. We not gonna take it no more. Bijan gonna take over. We gonna get Kyren. Take it on your league over. This is how we got us pitted alive. Certified, we range in the roof. Rage rover, cold over, back over like we taking over. That's how we going it on. We going to get it on. We not gonna take it, but we gotta get it.
Rock out. I love it. And one more for Smitty, the drummer boy. This is our champ. Appreciate you very much, pal. I can't. The text is too small on my screen today. I'm having trouble with the lighting and everything in here. Appreciate you all. See you tonight. Rock Out was smashing that.
We not gonna take it no more. Bijan gonna take over. We gonna get Kyren. Take it on your league over. This is how we got us pitted alive. Certified, we range in the roof. Rage rover, cold over, back over like we taking over. Chase, down, chase, down, chase, down, chase, down.
We got something else here from Rock Out. Here we go.
Josh Allen Coleman gonna be like some rock star, We give me Bijan. He be going to take over your lineup. Go give him some the pasta. They call it straight up Bijan. He be taking over Bijan in the game. He be going to take over your lineup, scoring touchdowns. That's how we do it.
Appreciate you all. See you all tonight. Deuces.
Wanted.